They know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
After damning politicians uphill and down dale for many years as rogues, vagabonds, frauds, and scoundrels, I sometimes suspected, like everyone else, I often expect too much of them.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And, of course, in the studio with me today, we have the one, the only, Eddie Bader. How you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing good, Joey. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. And we're trying out a new camera position for folks. There we go. That's about perfect. No Craig Munger today.
No.
He had something come up, but
He stopped by.
he will be missed.
He delivered some wonderful gifts. He
Wow.
dropped by 2 big sourdough loaves of sourdough bread, and you and I have already kind of sampled it.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Craig. This is delicious.
His wife knows what she's doing.
She does. I mean, it is absolutely delicious. I love every
Wow.
bit of it.
So we were talking off air. We can get into all the issues. It's Friday, folks.
It is.
272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. And for those of you checking us out online, this is just a humble little talk radio show out of Montgomery, Alabama. But we talk about all sorts of stuff, not just local issues. And plenty, like I said, national news, state news, local stuff to get to. But I was fascinated with what you were bringing up, because this is something we've discussed before, Eddie. The banks.
Banks here in the United States, not just Alabama, but in all of the United States.
They don't want you, you think the job of a bank is to hold my money. And then when I say I want to spend my money here, they can process that transaction. Right. Or if I want to take my money out, they say, thank you, sir. Yes, and maybe I can get a high yield savings account with this interest rate environment.
Sure. Maybe.
There are all sorts of little financial products, but you've found now it's gotten worse over the years, that if you try to take money out, or now in this instance, put money in.
Yes, Joey. And I'll tell you the whole story. I'm very open. I've changed companies recently. So with that, you have some accounts, retirement accounts and things like that you're going to change around. So got some of that taken care of. Went to our local bank here. Same local bank I've had an issue with before. But anyway, I went to put money in this time. Not a huge amount, about $8,000. Maybe a couple dollars more than that. The first thing that lady asked me, not for my ID, not for nothing else, where'd the money come from? And I said, excuse me? She said, well, there's a lot of fraud going on.
Yeah.
I said, I got you. And I said, well, look at my account. I've been in this bank for over 20 years. You ever seen any fraud on my account? Well, no, but we're not used to seeing these kind of numbers come in. Check numbers. So this is what I told her, that I'm getting pissed. I said, the reason you don't see a lot of volume of money going to this bank, because this is our piddly Annie bank. Y'all give us crap like this. So we take our business elsewhere. So I brought a little piddly Annie check over here, hoping you guys could cash it or deposit it. All I wanted was deposit. And so we got a little loud. I got louder.
Yeah.
She said she'd get
I've
the
seen you
manager.
when you get
I told her
angry,
to get the GD manager. We're only going to get louder.
Right.
Manager came
What
over.
were you putting $100,000 in there?
$8,000.
That's like one closing check.
Not only
in
that,
real estate.
She said, well, Mr. Bader, there's a lot of fraud going around. This check says Morgan Stanley. I said, it does. You have the ability right now to go verify funds with Morgan Stanley, but instead you're choosing to give me, your customer, a hard time. Give me all my GD money. Give it to me right now. Got the manager over there, led to give me all my GD money. Give it to me right now.
All right.
I know someone in the upper echelons of this bank, and I called him. We all did. And he was very open and honest with me. He said, Eddie, you can take your money. You can go wherever you want. I don't blame you. I'd be pissed too. However, it is not us, the bank, that's doing this. This is coming down from the government. And he said, you can raise all the cane you want to with us and the next bank you go to, but this is what's happening. They want you to no longer feel free to get your money. It's like you got to go to your parents to get your money. What you doing with it? We're looking out, and they use that excuse, we're looking out for your best interest.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're not. No, you're not. If you're looking out for my best interest, first off, you'd be open 24/7.
Right.
But you're not. And it just sickens me. I mean, it absolutely sickens. So I told him, I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take all my money. Which ain't much. I'll be honest, it's a couple dollars. I'm going to put it in my safe at home. And then y'all can all go to hell. And he said, well, that's a smart move, Eddie, except let's say something happens sometime, whether it's a mistake or not. And the police come to your house. And they look in your safe and they see you got that money. They're going to take it. Until you can prove where it came from, it's theirs.
This is just straight up tyranny.
Go to Atlanta Airport.
Oh, yeah,
Went
you
down the
can't
rabbit
carry
hole.
cash.
Right. I went down the rabbit
Yeah.
hole with that a while back.
Yeah.
They will just come get you out of line and take your money.
Turn the camera a little more that way.
There we go.
There,
Yeah, they'll come
Senor,
get you just out of line. You're waiting to get on the plane. They'll come take your money.
No, and this is a real life example of why folks are shifting to things like Bitcoin.
That's
actually,
my first thought.
I heard this scenario. Like, imagine you just gave the airport example. You want to get out of the country.
Mhm.
And there are a lot of folks in other countries, from South America to like Turkey to all sorts of places where you might want to get out of the country
Yeah.
real quick. And some Americans too. If you go to the airport with, say, $10,000, $20,000,
Well, a lot of
$30,000
countries,
in
you
cash.
can't come in but with X amount of dollars.
Right. And they'll just seize it from
Yep,
you.
that's what they do.
Including, you might expect it in some of these tyrannical socialist countries.
Third world country. no
But
doubt.
this is the United States of America, the land of the free. But no, your money is not your money.
It's not your money.
There are certain gateways. If you pass through, you're going to lose that money.
Yep.
So folks go, well, try doing that, by the way, in an airport with bars of gold.
Ooh, buddy.
They'll have the K9 unit
Yeah.
and the guns trained on you real quick.
You'll be there a while.
Like, what do you do with all that
You'll
gold?
be there a while.
But imagine, because I've just went through airport security and fairly big airport in Boston.
Yeah. No problem.
All I have is a thumb drive.
Ooh.
I don't know what's on that thumb drive. But I've got $1 billion on that thumb drive. Now, I wouldn't recommend that.
Right.
But I've got a lot of money on this thumb drive. Nobody can really see it. Nobody was going to think much of it. And this is where this world, I think, is going, to where if you really want to have money that not only is yours, and you can, of course, if you still want to trust a third-party institution, like like a Coinbase or a broker or
Sure.
somebody, sure.
But what choices do we have?
But if you really want to control your money, you go to something like this.
Yep.
And then on top of that, if you really want to save the value of your money, because you talked about, I'll just put it in my safe.
Yeah.
You know for a fact, same
Oh,
thing, principle sitting in the bank's vault.
Yeah.
But, and of course, everybody does know, and the bankers out there certainly know, as soon as, like, you have an on-demand deposit account, right? So as you were upset about, you were putting in, but you've also had the occasion where you're trying to take out, and they're like, why are you taking this money out? It's like, this is
where
my
are you
money.
Spending it. I mean, they literally had the gonads to say, "What are you fixing to spend this money on?"
Right. But everybody does know that they're lending out all that money that you have in the bank. They're making essentially deals.
Oh, they're making 10 to 1 to you.
So all that money you put in there, it's not like, oh, it's just there, it just sits there and you pay them a little storage fee. No, they're making money off of your money sitting there.
What worries me is what happened in Canada a while back, 2 years ago, when the truckers went on strike.
Yeah.
And people were donating money to them, and the government and the bank said, no, they're not going to get it.
Right.
That's bad. I don't have nothing nice to say about that, but that's bad. But I
Oh,
feel
it's
like
tyrannical.
that's the world that we are about to live in, where the government or the bank can say no money for Joey today.
Well, and the banks are essentially deputized
They
by
are.
the government.
They are. And
Especially after the Patriot Act.
That's pretty much what I was told. They said, we are following a directive.
Yeah. Well, and this is the history of money, folks, in a nutshell. Either money is a sign of value that is your private property, right? Which in the West used to be something like gold or silver.
Right.
So you had it. You owned it. Even if the government officially had to mint it, put their stamp on it, you still had that gold coin.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't easy for the government to manipulate.
No.
But we've now gotten to a place where it's easy, very easy for the government to manipulate your money, number one.
At any point they want to.
And then number two, if you look at the history of money, especially in the East, China says this explicitly today. Their examples, the one that always comes to my mind is this black currency. It was from black bark with white writing, and it was the Khanate, the Mongols, after they conquer that, almost all the world.
Yeah.
And that Khanate money, that black bark money, was not valuable anywhere except the Khanate. But it's the only money allowed in the Khanate.
It's the only money they would accept, yeah.
And they explicitly said this is not about finding objective economic value or allowing for an objective measure that plays with everybody's subjective whims and wants. This is a tool of political control. When China banned buying into Bitcoin direct in 2013, banned banks from doing that in their country, they said Bitcoin is not allowed because it tries to upset the idea that money is a matter of political authority and political control. And what is driving me nuts, and this is just another example, and I've said it many times until I'm blue in the face here on these airwaves, is the United States of America pretends to be the land of the free.
Yep.
And in many ways, relative to other monstrous nations around the world and in history, yeah, we're still pretty relatively free. But I'm tired of being told, yeah, you're free except with this. You're free except with that. And the walls, remember the Star Wars trash compactor scene?
Oh, yeah. Kind of coming in on us.
Just feels that way. Like it's slowly
Oh, it
coming
is.
in on us.
10 years ago, if I went to a bank, they were happy to give me my money.
Right.
They were even more happy to take my money.
Right.
Especially if it was a check. If it were cash and it was over $10,000, they had a little form they had to fill out. A check, they didn't give her. They're like, we got the check, we are in control. Now
Well-
they openly tell you, we'll let you have your money when we deem it necessary.
Well, and then there's this clip going around. Do you know how money printing and bonds work?
A little bit.
I know a little bit, but I think both you and I should say we
No, not
really
enough
don't
to
know.
lecture anyone on it.
Right. We kind of have an idea.
I got an idea.
Like bonds are essentially you loaning money to
Yep.
the government. And money printing is, the central bank is able to issue and
money.
they don't even print it. They just create, new
They add
entries
another
on a
zero
balance
in that
sheet.
account.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me of Macho Man Randy Savage. Every time payday came, it was like, brother, could you add a few more zeros on the end of that there, brother? So, we don't pretend to be experts on this, though we're, I think a lot of Americans and people around the world becoming more interested in the concept of what is money and who controls it. I think that should be it will continue to be a growing massive political issue in our day and age. But this is the chair. His name is Jared Bernstein.
Boy.
Jared Bernstein is the chair of the Council of Economic Advisors right now under Biden.
Okay.
So you would think if you're going to ask somebody about how to say money printing and bonds work,
Well, he ought to know, right?
he should know.
He's the man when it comes to that.
I don't know what documentary this is from, but it was going quite viral there on the Twitter this morning. So I want to go to that exactly.
All right.
Again, this is Mr. Bernstein being asked by some interviewer, well, how does all this money printing and bond stuff work? In fact, why does the government need to borrow money from the populace if they can just print it?
Why
Is
am
the
I
main
paying
question.
taxes if they can
Yes.
just print it? Yeah.
Exactly right. So here he is. Let's hear how the expert, again, chair of the Council of Economic Advisors, answers this question.
The U.S. government can't go bankrupt because we can print our own money.
It obviously begs the question, why exactly are we borrowing in a currency that we print ourselves? I'm waiting for someone to stand up and say, why do we borrow our own currency in the first place?
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They
Wow.
sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds. Right. right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah. So a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I can't really talk. I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about. Like, cause it's like the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
So everything's crystal clear now. We're not confused anymore, folks.
But this is part of their scheme. You put a nincompoop like that in there to keep between the people who want to kill you and you making the rules.
Though I have a sense that Jared Bernstein is not a nincompoop, and in fact, what he was stumbling over is the cold reality that, yeah, we're essentially
He didn't want to say it?
stealing from everybody.
He just didn't want to say it?
Right. And it's also, we had systems before that have now started to shift in a different direction towards a different system, again, of more political control.
Yeah.
And he either is outdated, like he's trying to square the new thoughts with the old ones, or he's just being dishonest. That's my read on that.
I think he's being dishonest, to be honest. I think he is smarter than that. But it's a way of kind of keeping things at arm's length.
And apparently this is from a documentary, award-winning documentary called Finding the Money. You can go findingmoneyfilm.com, findingmoneyfilm.com. And that's remarkable. And, you know, it wasn't just, this is an old clip of Alan Greenspan.
Greenspan there, yeah.
And all these wizards who are supposedly economic geniuses. Let's listen into Greenspan here.
The United States can pay any debt it has because we can always print money to do that. So there is zero probability of default.
But let me ask you this. At what point do you print so much money your money is no longer valuable?
There you go. The only
Especially when
way
you're
the United
bragging
States
about
gets
it.
away with that, yes, is as long as it is the world reserve currency.
Right. Which, if I am mistaken, the world is kind of going away from that as well.
They're trying to. Now they can't do it overnight, and almighty dollar will probably be almighty for a lot longer. But say over the last 20 years, the use of the dollar in international trades has continued to shrink. I think it is now under 50%.
Do you remember when Kmart used to be the biggest thing going?
Right.
Right.
Well, and that is the biggest, that's usually the number one form of hubris of especially tyrants and political types, whether you're talking about money or anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They always think we will last forever.
Yep.
We were just mentioning the Mongols, the Khans. They literally would claim something like the status of a god, like we will last forever. They didn't. They never do.
Yeah, but it worked for a while, didn't it?
Right. Well, it works until, it defies common sense. Like, what is valuable in the economy? The service somebody provides you, the product somebody provides you. The money is not the money is just the most liquid good. So you can go get all that other stuff you really want.
Instead of me paying you in potatoes, I pay you in cash so you can go buy some potatoes.
Right. So if nobody was producing anything, like we're not farming, we're not in an industrial industry at all. We're all just sitting here and we're just printing money.
Some hungry folks.
That it doesn't feed you. Like, this is absolutely crazy, the world. And just for you to have that experience at your bank, one of your banks today.
And that's the thing that really bothers me. I know it's not just me. If it happens to me, it happens to so many other people. But I think other people are embarrassed or whatever reason don't want to talk about it.
Right.
And I told you off air, if I was of a different color, they would not have asked me that question because they know I'd have sued their butt off and I'd have owned that damn bank. And I told them that too.
And you were telling me that. I was a little intimidated. You were dialing it back.
It just...
I can see the angry Eddie.
What if you showed up at a bank and
I'd
you
be
had a check
pissed.
for $10,000 and they're looking at you like,
He's a criminal.
he must have stole this money.
Right.
And that's exactly how I took it. I'm a 54-year-old man. You should not. And I've been at that bank for 20-something years.
Right. How dare you?
Right.
Well, we got a lot of calls rolling in.
boy.
272-9228. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Red Top.
Gentlemen.
How you doing?
Well, and taking me back to Greenspan just goes to show how long ago it's been since they really screwed up
Yeah.
with the financial system. And he was hailed as the superhero, basically. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he was.
And what a
The maestro,
screw-up that
yeah.
was. And by Republican and Democrat administrations, which goes to show you very clearly how much they are aligned. in
Well, and
every
also
way.
you got this phrase, I think it was in Wall Street, called the Greenspan put. And essentially it was a guarantee if anything got too bad, Greenspan would pump it back up again.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, Bernanke followed this. Greenspan was suggesting it in the early 2000s after the dot-com bubble burst. They're like, well, we can just print more money and reinflate this economy, get more liquidity going. And where did that show up along with all these changes, regulations? Housing.
Thank you.
And again, the money isn't what's valuable. And in fact, it distorts value. It creates malinvestment where you're investing too much in one thing, too little in the other thing. And it's one thing if an entrepreneur, like a given business owner, Red Top, say you make a bad mistake in a loan you take and the paint jobs don't come in or the music career doesn't work out. Okay, I made a bad mistake as a single entrepreneur. But when millions of entrepreneurs who are usually pretty good at what they do start making the same failure all at once, it suggests it's not their fault, that there's something structurally wrong here. And when you create money out of thin air, you tend to distort things that way.
Yeah, and then you start with the government bailout. And this
Yep.
Yeah,
is a
exactly.
classic example of what happened with Boeing. Should have gone out of business
Yep.
because they were not worth it. And we are living the reality of the Boeing bailout now.
Yep, we are.
And you know what, damn it, the government has got a problem because they bailed them out, and now they can't shut them down. And this is the most dangerous airplane situation that has ever been in my life.
Agreed.
There has never been a situation where these damn planes falling out of the air or parts falling off of them ever in my damn life, guys. And I'm 70 years old. I mean, just a bad friend. Now, speaking of very, on Friday, since I'm going to bring up something that is very unusual.
Right.
I'm about to have a very unusual 50th birthday party for my Fender F55 12-string guitar. And I'll tell you why this is important to me and a lot of other people. First of all, I have to put it up when all the other musicians in town come over because everybody wants to play my guitar. and, you know, I've had enough of it.
Yep.
All right. And, I mean, they would pull it right off the rack on the wall, and oh man, no, I gotta play this. But that guitar has been from Savannah, Georgia, to San Diego, to Chicago, to Mobile, all over the country, from the top of Chimney Rock to the Grand Canyon, to the mountains in Colorado with me. And I have written a tremendous amount of music on it, and a lot of people have played on the music I've written on that. I'm going to have a damn birthday party for my guitar, Joey.
Well, that's, I think, unusual but wholesome at the end of the day. I appreciate it, Red Top.
If you realize the contributions it made to me and a lot of other people, and it's still in good shape, it's one of the few damn things I had broke. Now, can I say real quick, Donald Trump's trial in New York is not going well. Michael Cohen's dumbass got up there yesterday, man. Did Donald Trump ever tell you a time and a place to pay this money? Stormy Daniels? He said, no.
Well, and apparently the tape that Cohen recorded it's actually a headache for the prosecutors because you could tell Trump on the calls like, just pay her in cash or a check or something. And Cohen's like, no, we've taken care of it. We've taken care of it. So Trump didn't understand how it was being accounted for. That's the actual crime here. It's an accounting crime. Trump wasn't the one that directed that.
And, you know, another witness said if he would have never gotten involved with it if he knew it was going to pay off. So it's falling apart. And it'll be a miracle. If this does come about and fall apart, I have to say this is going to be very encouraging.
Well, we'll see.
Well, roll tide, go Trump. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you, Red Top. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hola.
What up,
Hello,
dog?
Eric.
Appreciate you knocking that up for me this morning, Eric.
Hey, no problem, buddy. I'm cleaning up. About to walk out of here.
Okay.
Oh. Hey, Joey, why don't they just go ahead and print those like a $39 trillion piece and get our national debt back down to zero? I'm a God blessed genius.
Blessed indeed.
Right there. Hey,
He's
get
blessed.
that guy running for president right there. He's a winner all day long and twice on Sunday. I wake up in the morning pissing excellence. Y'all watch out.
Well, and it just shows how unsound our money is. Like the idea that our money actually is something you can hold on to, build wealth with personally, privately, pass it on to your family. The government has their hooks in all sorts of
Yes,
ways.
they do.
And of course, now there are a lot of creative schemes that people have come up with to preserve that money, whether getting into real estate or getting into stocks and
Put the
bonds
money
or
somewhere else. Yeah.
trying to come up with creative ways to hold it on to it. But what a miserable time.
Well, I mean, you have to outlaw all the alternatives so that the government can
That's what they're
maintain
doing.
control of you.
That's what
I mean,
they're
that's what
doing.
this is all about. If I can control the money, if I control the education, if I control the food supplies, then y'all can just suck an egg whenever I get ready for you to. But not the good ones, not the fresh ones. We're going to make sure they've been out for a minute. And
They ain't going to be the
sun's
duck
gotten
eggs.
Oh no,
Mm-mm.
you might get some duck butter, but you ain't gonna like it.
That's right.
You say the government's screwing you? That's what jumps into my head right there.
Yep.
Right there. Look, who's next?
That's it. That's it.
You know,
I heard that under your breath.
well, sometimes subterfuge is sometimes the best offense. You know
That's
what I mean?
right.
Move them. See, I like it when people think I'm a rube. It puts me in advantage.
It does. And you play the part very well.
Hey, I'm good at it now. I have been inculcated in the ways of to be lazy, and I'm not scared of hard work. I'll walk right up next to it, look at it, sit down, have a beer, talk about it, delegate it to somebody else. I think I got a pretty good idea of how to be a politician. And
That
yeah,
or
take it.
manager.
Hey, I've tried that. Don't like it. Have to talk to people too much.
Ah, gotcha.
That empathy where my kid's sick or I'm calling in sick because my car's got a flat tire.
Yeah.
You know, life's hard, and I don't care. You got responsibilities. I got responsibilities that I'm counting on you for.
Yep.
Show up, shut up, deal with it on your own time. Not to be rude.
It's just reality.
I mean, at the end of the day, all right, sit around and pout about it. What's going to happen? Nothing. It's still not going to fix itself. And I mean, unless you're a doctor, or you really can only take them to there. And I mean, put on a movie and come to work. I mean, what's your problem? I'm just kidding, Mom. Mostly. Anyway. But, you know, they've got us where they want us because they've dumbed down the education to the point where when you try to explain these economic things, even when you ask a question like, how come our money has value, the guy that's supposed to be teaching you is a friggin' idiot, and he can't even break it down low enough for you to get it.
Maybe because he knows the truth and he knows he can't say that. So he's got to figure out a way to lie around it. And I think his conscience and his mind was kind of eating at him a little bit. He just couldn't do it. But how do we hold him accountable? We don't. We can't.
Accountability doesn't exist when you get in public office. You didn't know that? I mean, be careful. Be careful. Me and 18 other people who are really pissed off are going to vote you out of office next year.
Exactly.
So you guys watch out. We're going to take our $500 and send that to somebody else. I'm not going to your big $10,000 plate dinner in Washington, D.C. I'll show you.
That's why they don't care about us, Eric.
No, they don't care about us because they don't have to.
Yeah, but they led us in prayer yesterday, so everything's going to be all right.
What, they let us in some, was there
passed the
tunes
offering
going
plate?
on? Was somebody humming? Were they making beer nearby? I mean, were they do that chanting? Were there candles? Were there cameras? That's the important thing.
That was the important thing,
The
buddy.
camera.
Yeah.
Huh? Think we're on to something here. Theater. You ain't supposed to let your left hand know what your right hand's doing, but they're up here being all proud of what their left hand's doing.
Well, they have no pushback. No
Well,
pushback. Like you
they've
said, it's
muted
you, me, and 10 other people that are mad. Everybody else, they ain't got time to be mad. They're too busy trying to pay their bills.
Yeah, trying to survive.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate the call, Eric.
All right, y'all.
Later, dog.
272-9228. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services. And folks, Pest Pro, they've been expanding, growing so much since COVID. Like one of the great success stories out of that era, like a small business that was doing well, but just to see the increase in staff, brand new building, and how many more homes they're covering. It's incredible growth, and it suggests, okay, not only are they good at what they do, people end up being very happy with Pest Pro services.
Lots of folks love Ashley over there. And I'll tell you, it's funny. I'll see on Facebook once in a while, somebody will say, I'm looking for a recommendation for pest control service.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, I'm putting in Pest Pro right away. I usually see it 3 or 4 times before I put mine in there. So many people love and respect what they do that they put it out there. And Ashley, love her to death. She responds to every one of us with a thank you when we do that.
So, of course, they can handle a termite problem for you, a fire ant problem, a mosquito problem, a wasp problem, even subtrading yellow jackets or wood scorpions. Whatever the issue is, maybe you just want them to be your everyday pest control company. The real selling point to me are the people.
Yep.
They really are fantastic folks, local folks who are giving back to the community and serving the community well through Pest Pro. So check them out today. You can always call them at 265-9990. That's 265-9990. Or go to ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces. What do you want to know? Call a pro. Pest Pro Services. And be sure to tell them that, well, you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. We'll be right back.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies candidates with the right skills, sends you great matches, then you can easily invite them to apply. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. See for yourself. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Hi, this is Sharon with the Depot Furniture Gallery. Choosing to advertise with Blue Water was an easy decision to make. Our goal was to increase sales, and they reached the audience that we wanted to connect with. Our sales rep has been great to work with, and we couldn't be happier with the results.
Radio reaches over 90% of everyone in the river region. Shouldn't your ads be out there where your customers are? Call us to find out more. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. The first weekend of May will feel more like the first weekend in June.
If you have outdoor plans, the rain chances are on the low side. Lots of sunshine today with a high temperature flirting near 90. Random, widely scattered hit or miss showers and storms are possible today, tomorrow, and Sunday, just like the summer forecast. Lows at night in the 60s, daytime highs Saturday and Sunday in the upper 80s, and we'll be near 90 again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Do you have big plans this summer? Dive into summer with an ASE Credit Union vacation loan. Whether you've got a trip coming up, projects at home, or just need a little extra cash, we've got you covered. So don't put your plans on hold. Visit yourasecu.com or stop by and see us today.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WHCV.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. There's a clever guy on the Twitter named Aaron, A-U-R-O-N, Aaron McIntyre.
Okay.
He says, Americans are not so much citizens of a country as tax cattle farmed for wealth to be retributed to the client classes of the ruling elite.
He nailed it.
Yeah, that's about right.
He nailed it right there.
Let's go to Charles the First here.
Charles the First.
Hey, Charles the First, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. This is my second time to call.
Well, thanks for calling back, buddy.
Well, you're welcome. I enjoyed calling the first time. I was going to tell you about my banking story because you were saying not a lot of people told about it.
Right.
And in the 2000s, I wrote a book, and and you're going to find this interesting. It's very similar to like Jonathan Livingston Seagull, the 1970 bestseller there, if you remember what I'm talking about.
Okay.
And the little checks I got for them every 3 months wasn't very much money, and I was at the post office, and the bank that the check is wrote upon is right across the street, and it's only like a $7 check.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to go over there and cash it because I happen to know. I mean, I actually even have the book from the 1930s about check writing, like a promissory note that you can take to the bank upon which it is written and receive your monies exactly with the presentation of an ID during business hours. So I go over there to do it, and they tell me there'll be a fee, and the fee's about as much as my check would be. And I said, well, you really can't do this, and it kind of upset me.
It should have.
I called, and his name at the time, he was the head of the banking in Alabama. His first name was Bill, and I can't remember his second. And I said, why can't I get this, And he said, well, Charles, it's very simple. Banks get to charge fees. Now, I want you to realize that Bill knew all along what I was talking about, but was pretending that he didn't, Joy. And I said, no, sir. I said, this is a promissory note that my money exactly come to me, and I should be able to receive them. And as a state of Alabama banking, you should insure this.
Yep.
Well, then he tells me that the very bank I went into sued just a year or so before in Texas and won that they could charge this way. Still wasn't in effect in Alabama. And I said, so you're not going to protect me? He said, no, sir, we're just going to let it go for everybody. And I said, well, what's to stop me from going to my municipal court and saying I didn't receive my money and I don't have to give money and money is taken from me by this clerk, by this person at the bank? He said, well, nothing's there to stop you, Charles. He said, but they're going to give you so many interrogatories. You're going to be dealing with this big bank that you couldn't possibly answer all their questions for this court. He said you would win the first time because you are correct, but you wouldn't be able to beat all their lawyers. I said, but nothing to stop me from doing it. He said, no, I'd actually like to see you try to do it. You are correct. But, that's just an example there of banking got changed on us.
Yep.
To not even be in the form that it's supposed to be in. The money that's a promissory note for a service or good,
right?
I should be able to present without any money taken from it or any fee charged to me.
Right. That's supposed to be the benefit of me being a member of the bank, writing you the check. My check should be good to anybody that I write it out to, and they should receive no trouble whatsoever cashing.
And this is it was actually part of the, they were going to try to force banks to be a part of interstate commerce, and they were going to force them, but the 36 states got together and said, we will all agree to participate, so the federal government couldn't tell them what to do. You following me?
Mm-hmm.
And So they just decided. So this big branch bank, and also I want to tell you, this big branch bank is the main one that does liberal things in the state of Alabama.
Yep.
Like right now, they're a big proponent of the mayor of Birmingham attempting to bring people back into society. They're contributing a huge amount of money to it. I don't know if you've read about that, but that's the bank when you do see them, and it's just absolutely things being taken from us that in a roundabout kind of way that's sneaky.
Yeah, insidiously slowed the boiling of the frog, so to speak. And essentially what's happened over time is it used to be Americans could guarantee they had a private property right in their money.
Right.
And that has slowly but surely been boiled away to where now money is a very political thing. And whether it's in the court system or it's through some regulator or it's right there at your bank, they're going to make you realize, well, I guess my money ain't my money.
Right. Well, their ultimate goal, and nobody will ever convince me I'm wrong, is to do away with private property, period.
Yep. That's where we're going.
Well, we need to be aware that it's happening, y'all.
Yes, it is.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, Charles. Have a great one, buddy.
Thanks, sir. 272-9228. Let's go to Wetumpka Jeff. Hey, Wetumpka Jeff.
On the note y'all been talking about on banks.
Mm-hmm.
I had an incident here a while back. I had my savings account in this bank, and every year I noticed $60 was missing out of my account. They was charging me a $5 maintenance fee, and I went in and I said, "Why are y'all charging me money to keep my money in your bank? Because you loan the money to other people." Well, it's a maintenance fee. I said, "Well, I tell you what, give me my money, and I will go to the Guardian Credit Union where they don't charge a fee." So I pulled my savings account out, took my money down to Guardian, and that's where I've been banking ever since.
Beautiful.
Now, that's what you have to do. You have to be an active consumer. You have to say, you know what, whether it's Walmart, banks, whoever, I've had enough of you, I'm done with you, and walk away. Get your money and walk away. That's the only, voting and all that stuff, that's great, but money is what makes things happen. And people not being able to have your money.
We need to go back to the gold standard.
I'm all about that.
Amen. Something like that.
Because the globalists were the ones that took it away to begin with.
Yep. And you see why.
I looked it up a while ago. It said the reason they did it, hold on. It said the reason they did it to curb inflation and prevent foreign nations from overburdening the system by redeeming their dollars for gold.
Oh, yeah, that's Nixon.
Which is a liberal way of saying they gave us the shaft.
Well, they at that point, yeah. Well, and I appreciate what Wetumpka Jeff.
Thank
really
you,
did.
Jeff.
Like a quick history, I guess we go off the classical gold standard in the early 1900s.
Okay.
And actually, FDR seizes gold through executive order in the 30s.
Seizing of the gold.
So, and that way, it used to be, that promissory note means it was, the dollar was essentially a measure of gold.
Right.
So you could go, hey, give me the gold, I got the dollars. They changed the system to, I guess, the Bretton Woods system, where you couldn't, the everyday consumer, everyday citizen couldn't do that, but other central banks could.
So they took away your right there.
Yeah, what Jeff was just talking about there is the United States printed up a bunch of money. And I think the bank in France, the bank in Germany were like, okay, we got all these dollars we got on the open market, give us the gold. And that's when Nixon in 1971 removes us off the gold window.
Maybe because the gold wasn't there.
You go even further back in history. I believe the gold standard, the price of gold set by the government, had been the same in England, at the Bank of England for 400, 500 years. It was first set by Isaac Newton. Until
500 years? Are you kidding me?
Something like that. I might be overshooting it, but just to get the sense of how long, it was centuries. So it's the same until World War I.
Okay.
In order to fund the war, and this gets to the question we were talking about initially, they had to issue bonds, and the population in England would have to buy up those bonds to support the war effort, finance the war effort. Well, after entire towns of men are not coming back, there's some that say Christianity died at the Psalm. It's entire generations lost in that meat grinder World War I. So the people in England, seeing this, go, we don't want to buy any more bonds. We're tired of financing this war.
Yeah.
The Bank of England printed up a bunch of money, gave it to two bank executives, and with that money they printed up, they bought the bonds to keep the war effort going. John Maynard Keynes writes of the Bank of England, what a masterful manipulation. And that's what it is, a manipulation. When the population said, we're tired of this war, they print up a bunch of money, thus devaluing the money for everybody else in the process. And they pretend, oh, now we have the liquidity to go fund the war more. And what do you know? I think we're still doing the same thing, right. Whether it's corporate welfare or warfare.
But to me, when those institutional changes like that take place, if you don't set the world on fire then, they're just going to throw the blanket over you and keep on going. And that's what's happened every single time. There's no pushback received whatsoever. And of course, unless any kind of politician, and I hate saying sound like Maxine Waters, but in case they put somebody's in their face, they think it's all good. And everybody loves me. It's all good.
Well, and Ron Paul put this out there today on Twitter. He said, 1913, the year that led to today's economic torture. Both the income tax and the Federal Reserve, were created that year. The income tax made everyone's earnings the property of the government first.
Yeah,
what the government allows people to keep is then relentlessly stolen by the Fed's inflation. And they've been doing it, well, for over a century now. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hi, it's Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Well, I have a couple of stories to tell you, and I'll try to make it quick.
All right.
One, my brother-in-law passed away, God love him, and he left a will for his mother to inherit all his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to the bank and present the will, and they said it was not probated, it wasn't good enough.
Right.
So they would not release the money. So anyway, we went back and forth for nearly a year and a half, finally got the money, had to go through the probate process, had to pay all that money, which is hundreds of dollars, everything. And by the time we got it, they had already squeezed out $600 and something out of his account because they kept charging him $28 per month in fees. Right.
Yep.
Well, I asked my daughter-in-law, who is working at one of the local banks and the River, and she said they don't do that. And I said, well, is it legal? She said, it doesn't seem right. I don't know. I'll check into it. I said, well, will you report them to whomever? And she said, yes, if I find out, I'll let them know what's going on. Well, within 2 months after, well, not even 2 months, it was the next month after we got the money out from my mother-in-law, they sent a letter in the mail stating that they were no longer going to do that. Odd, huh?
But did they give you the refund for that $28 per month?
No.
Nope, of course not.
Nope. They took that 600 and something. Now, what I did want to bring up, though, I read an article recently about kudos to Joe, supposedly, for giving us a little bit of an increase on our Social Security checks. Well, then it goes on and explains how they're coming up with that money is that they are going to have to offset it by taking more from the paycheck of those that are still working.
Those that'll never get the money.
So,
right.
Well, you know, what I don't like, and this is me, if they can afford to pay for all the illegal immigrants they're bringing in who has not paid a dime into our economy, you know, up until then, I just have a real hard time. You take care of your own first.
Yep.
Especially if they've already put money into a system that's broken. They could have been taking our money all these years and been making money on it. Instead, they've been using it and paying back without interest and letting our money just, you know, be nothing by the time we need it. They've known this for years.
Well, the goal of Social Security is for you to never touch it, for you to pass away long before that you're eligible for it, which is a scam on itself. And then they keep wanting to kick the retirement age down the road and things like that.
Yes.
It just kills me because in a country like ours that's so wealthy, imagine if we didn't support the rest of the world. Do you think things are nice in Dubai? Imagine how good we would have it.
Yep.
I know. But they want us all to be the same, and we are way above the pay scale, supposedly, of the rest of the world. So we've got to be brought down a peg or two, and this is their attempt to even us all up. So it's not just equality for
Yeah.
equality for us. It's for the whole world.
Well, they handicap us. They've been handicapping us for years, and every time America gets a little bit of a head, our own leaders come out and throw the handicap back on us.
And then divide us against each other,
Oh, yeah,
make us suspicious of one another. What's that guy getting that I'm not getting?
That's something they've been very successful at.
Yep.
They've managed to make you like corporations better than your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You will tell on your neighbor and support corporations that could give a rat's butt about you. But your neighbor will be there when you need him.
Well, Debbie, I got to run here. Appreciate the call.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
272-9228. And if I share this on the screen here real quick, headline from CNBC, why hundreds of U.S. banks may be at risk of failure.
They must have heard me this morning. Word's getting out.
Yeah, it was all
Go get your
Eddie's
money.
fault. All Eddie's fault. How about this? We'll break. Be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
This is your roving reporter, and today I am talking with an elk. Hey man. Mr. Elk, I was just wondering, what do elk do to take care of their money? Well, like most smart folks, we call David Ernest. You mean Alabama's most favorite asset preservationist? That's him, man. We call him up at 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. I see. Yes, he is our preferred money man. The money man with the money plan. You've been paying attention. Well, could you give us those numbers one more time? 334-279-7431 or 205-479-0839. And I just want to try to give you a heads up, man. Oh, what's that? I'm not an elk. Not an elk, huh? Well, then, pray tell, what are you? Knights of Columbus. I am not even going to make a comment. Well, the baby liked it.
Hello, everyone. Robbie Pelt with Capital City Roofing. If you think about it, your home is your biggest investment in life. Your roof covers your home, so why jeopardize your biggest investment on a roofer you don't know anything about when you can deal with a reputable roofing company like Capital City Roofing? We have an A+ Better business rating and the best manufacturers and workmanship warranties available. We do all residential and commercial roofing applications that are certified through the manufacturer to ensure you get the best material and workmanship money can buy. We also have your project in our best interest before and after construction has been done. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any roofing issues or questions. We will match any of our competitors' price and give you the same great workmanship warranty. We also give free estimates. Give us a call today and let us show you the difference. 277-3311. That's 277-3311. Or you can check us out on the web at www.capitalcityroofing.com. Capital City Roofing. We capitalize the roofing industry.
When news happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. We got enough time, I think, left in this hour to take another phone call.
All right.
Let's go to Urbanite. Hey, Urbanite, how you doing?
Yeah, hey, maybe an urban myth, but I understand when we did the Affordable Health Act, they pulled about $800 million out of the Medicare Trust Fund. Has that ever been substantiated as truth?
Not that I know of, but I'm not the guy on that.
Right.
I
If
do
that's
remember
the
I do remember the story about it. I honestly assumed
Yeah,
it was
if
done.
that is the truth, because conservative radio can be as bad as liberal radio about passing out stuff that makes their side sound good.
What are you
But if that is the truth, that seems to be the starting point to me, is to make the government pay back that trust fund.
Well, and you're right
I mean,
about how bad conservative radio can be. There are a lot of bought and paid for whores.
And then while we're chewing gum at the same time, we should be working on our tax code, because the Catholic relief agencies and some of the other agencies out there that are very Baltic in their nature are using tax credits to do all the things they do with all the immigrants and stuff coming in the country. If they were no longer able to do tax write-offs for that stuff, I promise you it would stop.
Yep.
If people couldn't take tax write-offs for all their quote-unquote charity, it would slow it down or stop.
Yeah, there's no doubt
And
about that.
our government would retain its money, and that would go against our deficit. Simple accounting. So we lose money right now to all the tax shelters.
Yeah, I think the original intent, and I get it, the original intent would have been to encourage people to give to charity instead of the government. I get that. But you're right. People have figured out, and the government have figured out how to manipulate that. And now it's,
right.
You know, hey, I'm a nonprofit. You can put me down as one of your charities.
Exactly. And we know the proliferation of 503s, especially back in the 90s. I don't think there's a church out here that's got some size on it that don't have a nursery school or old home tax onto a 503.
That wouldn't surprise me.
So I'm looking at a site called Committee for the Responsible Federal Government. So the claim is similar to the one that Mitt Romney made in 2012 election about Medicare, that the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, enacted saving estimates at the time of $716 billion to the Medicare program over 10 years, now estimated at $800 billion, which was used to pay for some of the costs of the new law under the pay-as-you-go budget scoring conventions. However, there was no reduction in the amount of money going towards paying for Medicare. Rather, the law reduced the amount that Medicare spends. In fact, Medicare payroll tax revenues increased, increasing the amount that could be spent. Partially as a result of these changes, the Medicare Trust Fund is expected to be solvent through 2030, 13 years longer than projected before the 2010 law was passed. But, you know, right around the corner.
All that time, all that money we got, what, 13 years?
Right. It's one of those fights over accounting that I think was being used as a political
three-card money
talking
is
point.
what it is.
That's double speak, but here's the deal. We know that one thing that I know to make himself look good for the public, when Trump got rid of the thing where if you didn't have insurance, you were going to lose $600 on your return. That was supposed to fuel that, if I'm not mistaken. And see, none of that exists anymore. It's been what's the word? It's been evolved so much that it doesn't resemble the original document. I doubt seriously it's making money or saving money.
It's not saving money.
And we know that they've turned around and given a lot of the migrant type money out of the Medicare Trust Fund under disability and stuff.
Yep.
But now I found another Washington Post article saying Romney was right. So it's one of those, I think, weaselly back and forth over dollars and cents. I appreciate Urban. I got to run, man.
Thanks, Urban. I just remember Aaliyah. And I love some folks at Aaliyah.
Yeah.
But I remember we're going to combine these agencies and save some money. The money savings was not there. In fact, it cost more. So here's an idea. If you've got a brilliant idea and you're a politician and you're going to put it into play and you're these legislators and Senate that's going to vote on it, if it doesn't work, you have to go up in front of the public and apologize for being a dumbass. That would end it all tomorrow.
Yeah, but that's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen. We can't hold them accountable. Until we, the people, grow the gonads it takes to hold our leaders accountable, we're just sheep.
Well, we have to at the top of the hour break. We'll be right back, folks. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Waves of torrential rain are inundating southeast Texas, forcing schools to cancel classes and closing numerous highways around Houston. The National Weather Service reporting more than 9 inches of rain during the past 24 hours. A flood warning has been issued until Tuesday for the region. The nation's employers pull back on their hiring in April, adding a modest 175,000 jobs.
It's a sign that persistently high interest rates may be starting to take a bigger toll on the world's largest economy. Last month's hiring gain was down sharply from the increase of 315,000 in March, and it was well below the 233,000 gain that economists had predicted for April. Last month's figure suggests the Federal Reserve's aggressive streak of rate hikes may finally be cooling the pace of hiring.
Correspondent Jeremy House, also at srnews.com, the Justice Department.
Biden has started tracking Christians like cattle. Yes, you heard it right. He pressured banks to tag transactions for certain keywords. One of them is Holy Bible. It's a horrifying and creepy attack on our religious freedoms. It's made possible by a digital financial system that makes you a sitting duck. But you do have other options. I recommend a physical gold IRA from Birch Gold Group. I'm Lance Wallnau, a news analyst, a best-selling author, and evangelical leader to people who cherish their financial independence. A precious metals IRA can help you avoid the scrutiny of Biden's anti-Christian bureaucracy while also preserving your retirement savings. To find out more, get your free info kit on gold IRAs by texting the word FAITH to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and see how a gold IRA can help you. Text FAITH to 989898. There are no strings attached. So text FAITH to the number 989898 right now and take action to protect your own prosperity.
The Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Hi, everybody. The first weekend of May will feel more like the first weekend in June. If you have outdoor plans, the rain chances are on the low side. Lots of sunshine today with a high temperature flirting near 90. Random, widely scattered hit or miss showers and storms are possible today, tomorrow, and Sunday, just like a summer forecast. Lows at night in the 60s, daytime highs Saturday and Sunday in the upper 80s, and we'll be near 90 again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors and More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors and More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Facebook's parent company, Meta Platforms, announced Thursday that it plans to open an $800 million data center in Montgomery that will support 100 jobs. Meta's new 715,000 square foot data center will be built off Interstate 65 across from the Hyundai automotive plant. A federal judge has sentenced a Montgomery man to 30 years in prison for armed robbery. 21-year-old Jamarcus Hatcher pleaded guilty to a Hope Hole gas station robbery in April of last year. Hatcher was also involved in multiple other robberies in the Montgomery area that helped determine his prison sentence. Approximately 16,000 pounds of ground beef sold at Walmart stores nationwide is being recalled due to a possible E. coli contamination. The recalled ground beef was produced on April 26th and 27th. The USDA Food Safety and Inspection Service announced the recall Thursday. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Hi there, I'm Kim Williams with Alabama Home Mortgage.
And I'm Madeline Cannon. It's true, rates aren't as low as they have been for the past couple of years, but there are still many homeowners that could benefit from refinancing their current mortgage. There are a lot of things in life that are out of our control, but your mortgage rate is not one of them. If you currently have an adjustable rate mortgage, then you owe it to yourself to give us a call.
Adjustable rate mortgages make sense for some people in stable markets, but in this wild, ever-changing rate environment, it only makes sense to secure a fixed interest rate. A fixed interest rate will give you the peace of mind that your rate is locked. Your rate will not be subject to change with the political and economic tides.
At Alabama Home Mortgage, you can personalize your term. We offer 8-year to 30-year mortgages and everything in between. Grab your mortgage statement and give us a call.
Call Alabama Home Mortgage, the #1 mortgage lender in Alabama, today at 567-4223, or visit us online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. That's Alabama Home Mortgage, because, folks, there is a difference in mortgage companies. NMLS 1586-36-8, equal housing lender.
Hi, I'm Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. If you're looking for waterproof carpet, hardwood, laminate, vinyl plank, or ceramic tile, call us today for your free measurement.
Prattville Carpet is a family-owned flooring store that prides itself on personal service, quality products, and guaranteed installation. From beautiful hardwood floors to luxurious smart strand carpet, Prattville Carpet has you covered. Call, come by, or online at prattvillecarpet.com.
Prattville Carpet, we're more than just carpet.
It's time to show Mom how much you appreciate her with a Jenny Lynn's floral creation for Mother's Day. Skip the grocery store flowers and make one quick call, 285-1000. Roses, lilies, beautiful bouquets, and gift baskets designed just for Mom. Call Jenny Lynn's Creations, 285-1000. The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Hey, miss, I don't mean to be telling tales out of school, but there's a feller in there who'll pay you $10 if you sing into his tan. I'm not here to make a record, you dumb cracker. They broadcast me out on the radio.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. He's Eddie.
Hey, Joey.
Oh, sorry. Let me turn your mic on.
Try that again. Hey, Joey.
Hey, how you doing?
Could you add a little bass? Why do you always take the bass out of my voice when you know I'm going to talk, Joey?
I'm not the one doing that to your voice. You're doing that to your own voice, big boy.
I don't know. You're the one on the board there.
I don't know. I don't think you blaming me for this is sound policy.
You're probably right.
I think you should blame yourself, like I do for everything.
Well, I do blame myself for quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Now, speaking of a little bit of a lilt.
Yeah?
I mean, if we could talk this way, I think it'd be a completely different type of show. Welcome into News and Views, folks. Humble little talk radio show here in Montgomery, Alabama. This is my trusty partner, Eddie Bader. Mr. Bader, how you?
I'm doing wonderful today, Joey. How are you doing?
Why are you changing your voice around?
I'm not pulling the Lindsay.
Yeah, but speaking of Lindsay, little Lilton Lindsay, Lindsey Graham's butter buns and biscuits. So you got biscuits and buns, we'll butter them.
He's interested.
Well, Lindsey Graham, he says his phone was hacked.
Hacked?
Hacked by somebody impersonating Chuck Schumer.
Really?
Lindsey Graham, the GOP minority leader of the Senate, is claiming he was tricked by hackers who convinced him he was talking to his colleague, Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. As the Washington Times reports, Graham made this alarming admission during remarks to the Hill and Valley Forum. Oh, that's such a good time. The Hill and Valley Forum. You've ever been on there?
I've never been there.
It's a gathering of tech leaders and government officials who meet to discuss AI or artificial intelligence.
Swap cash for favors.
So I get a message, I think, from Schumer. It ain't from Schumer, Lindsay said. And next thing you know, my phone's, I don't know what, anything you can create apparently can be hacked. Yeah, that's a good lesson there, Lindsay.
What are they going to do now? Ban phones right after they ban TikTok? The old parts can't handle what happened?
It's unclear whether the message he was referencing was text or audio or what kind of technology might have been used in the alleged hack. All the same, the situation has apparently resulted in law enforcement involved. My phone's in the hands of the FBI now.
Now, this happens to people all the time. Facebook, for instance. Or if he got hacked via text message, how do you get hacked via text message? Hey, Joey, this is Eddie. This is not my phone. Answer me here.
But the story goes on. It says, while it's unclear who may have hacked the Senate minority leader's phone, his representative confirmed to the Washington Times that the Senate's sergeant at arms is investigating the incident as well. The FBI did not respond to a request for comment, but in a catty response, emphasis on catty, a Democratic staffer told The Hill that Graham should have been suspicious from any text message purporting to be from Schumer because the New York Democrat is known to use an old school flip phone. Chuck Schumer isn't texting you from his flip phone, the aide, whose name The Hill did not print, said. If you get a text message from Schumer, it probably isn't real.
See, there's your problem. Print the names. They're not, and they're doing this on purpose. They print the name. Because if it were gone on the other shoe, if it was a Republican assistant of any type that done that, her name, address, and phone number would have been in that article.
Yeah, and back in 2016, the senator claimed, maybe he just likes claiming this. He claimed that I was hacked by the Russians.
Is that the one where they called? Remember there were two radio guys that called?
No, that was to, I think, Adam Schiff.
Yes, it was shit.
Yeah, it was like a Russian comedy morning show.
Yeah, he fell for
it. We have information on Putin.
I do.
Can we talk to the chairman of the House Intelligence?
Those were good times.
Wow. So, good for Lindsey. I'm glad that he...
Congratulations. Welcome to the rest of the world. This kind of crap happens to us all the time.
Right.
Why don't he try to get on the do not call list? I bet that'll help him.
Right. Now, apparently, I'm not the only one who wakes up with, dreams, fever dreams, of Washington sinking into the ocean and like nuclear war taking everything out. Apparently, the apocalypse now has gone mainstream. It's from one of my favorite websites, studyfinds.org.
Oh.
Now, I love studyfinds.org because sometimes it's, that's an interesting study and finding. Sometimes it's like, you needed a study for that? So the headline here is Apocalypse Goes Mainstream, the End of the World is Becoming Normal Conversation. The exponential growth of artificial intelligence over the past year has sparked discussions about whether the era of human domination of our planet is drawing to a close. The most dire predictions claim that the machines will take over within 5 to 10 years. Fears of AI are not the only thing driving public concern about the end of the world. Climate change and pandemic diseases are also well-known threats. Reporting on these challenges and dubbing them a potential apocalypse has become common in the media. So common, in fact, that it might go unnoticed or may simply be written off as hyperbole. And the use of the word apocalypse in the media significant? Our common interest in how the American public understands apocalyptic threats brought us together to answer this question. One of us is a scholar of the apocalypse in the ancient world. The other studies press coverage of contemporary concerns. I think the professor is Eric Bleich because he's with Middlebury College, which does not sound like a... Anyway, Eric Bleich and Christopher Starr wrote this up. By tracing what events the media describes as apocalyptic, we can gain insight into our changing fears about potential catastrophes. We have found that discussions of the apocalypse unite the ancient and the modern, the religious and the secular, and the revelatory and the rational. They show how a term with roots in classical Greece and early Christianity helps us articulate our deepest anxieties today. Thanks, nerd. Thank you for looking into this, nerd. But humans have been fascinated by the demise of the world since ancient times, obviously. Sure. However, the word apocalypse was not intended to convey that preoccupation. In Greek, the verb originally meant simply to uncover or to reveal. In his dialogue, Protagoras, Plato used this term to describe how a doctor may ask a patient to uncover his body for a medical exam. So I had to take his shirt off and he'd see that boil you're talking about.
Yeah, I thought it was a third nipple.
I mean, with what you've been into in life, I wouldn't have been surprised.
Actually had that.
He also used it metaphorically when he asked an interlocutor to reveal his thoughts. New Testament authors use this Greek noun to refer to the revelation of God's divine plan in the world. So it's revealed, it's uncovered.
Right.
It's shown to you. So the apocalypse in the contemporary world means a little bit different. Many American Christians today feel that the day of God's judgment is just around the corner.
Yep.
In a December 2022 Pew Research survey, 39% of those polled believe they were living in the end times. It's a lot of people.
But that's been a while. I've heard that my whole life.
While 10% said that Jesus will definitely or probably return in their lifetime.
Yep.
Yet for some believers, the Christian apocalypse is not viewed entirely negatively. Rather, it is a moment that will elevate the righteous and cleanse the world of sinners. Secular understandings of the word, by contrast, rarely include this redeeming element. An apocalypse is more commonly understood as a cataclysmic, catastrophic event that will irreparably alter our world for the worse. It is something to avoid, not something to await. But here's what we fear most, and you said you've heard this for a while, but so
my whole life.
This is always in the background. There's always visions of an apocalypse, or so to speak. But it changes what might be driving those visions. So here, decade by decade, some researchers demonstrate the research that the media are likely to reflect public opinion even more than they direct it or alter it. While their study focused largely on Americans' views of important policy decisions, their findings, they argue, apply beyond those domains. If they are correct, we can use discussions of the apocalypse in the media over the past few decades as a barometer of prevailing public concerns. Following this logic, we collected all articles mentioning the word apocalypse or apocalyptic from the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post between January 1st, 1980 and December 31st, 2023. After filtering out articles centered on religion and entertainment, there were 9,380 articles that mention one or more of four prominent apocalyptic concerns. One, nuclear war, disease, climate change, and AI. Through the end of the Cold War, fears of nuclear apocalypse predominated not only in the newspaper data we assembled, but also in visual media, such as the 1983 post-apocalyptic film The Day After.
Yep.
Which didn't that influence people like Reagan, and like it influenced a lot of people.
But I think it also influenced a lot of people to take go back to the church, I guess would be the nicest way to put it.
By the 1990s, however, articles linking the word apocalypse to climate and disease in roughly equal measure had surpassed those focused on nuclear war. By the 2000s, and even more so in the 2010s, newspaper attention had squarely turned in the direction of environmental concerns.
Yeah.
You're right. I think we should still focus on the nukes.
I think we should focus on the nukes, and because of the invention of COVID, I think we have to go back and start looking at that stuff.
And that's what they found. In the 2020s, this pattern was disrupted. COVID-19 caused a spike in articles mentioning the pandemic. There are almost 3 times as many stories linking disease to the apocalypse in the first 4 years of this decade compared to the early 2010s. In addition, while AI was practically absent from media coverage through 2015, recent technological breakthroughs generated more apocalypse articles touching on AI than on nuclear concerns in 2023 for the first time. Coming on strong.
Well, can you blame it?
Well, and it sort of jibes with the perspective of scientists responsible, say, for the doomsday clock, who track what they think are the critical threats to human existence and focus primarily on nuclear concerns, followed by climate, biological threats, and AI. It might appear the use of apocalyptic language to describe these challenges represents an increasing secularization of the concept. For example, there's a philosopher, Giorgio.
Papa Giorgio?
Yeah. Has argued that the media portrayal of COVID-19 as potentially apocalyptic reflects the replacement of religion by science. Oh, fascinating. There might be something to that. But as the Pew poll demonstrates, apocalyptic thinking remains common among American Christians as well. So it's not just secular folks. The key point is both religious and secular views of the world make use of the same word. And, well, the same threats might be coming. I don't know. It is a pretty common theme, though, these days, which actually makes me think it's not going to happen.
But I thought we were closer to nuclear war. I mean, we started this about a year ago. We were closer to
we were pretty close.
war than ever before.
Yeah, but the Russians are doing all right now. Did you see the Ukraine army chief say we're getting our ass kicked, essentially?
I've seen several things from there, yeah. Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a very real thing going on in the world.
You mentioned something earlier about generations disappearing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's happening over there. There's generations of people that are just disappearing.
Yeah. It's pretty awful. Sorry, I was smiling. Jay was showing me a photo of, what, over at Seafood Bistro. Our faces are on the TV.
Yeah, I got a few texts.
Let's go to line 1. You're on the air. Who's this?
Oh, goodness, Joey, you surprised me. You know, what's going on in Ukraine? If they're actually losing, that is a plea for more billions.
Right.
So they can line their pockets. Whoever's lining the pockets and whoever's lining the pockets back here. But the single greatest threat to the status quo, as you and I know it, is the Caucasian male, and in my case, it's the single Caucasian male. Will you follow me, Joey?
Oh, sure, yes.
No, they're just lazy.
Shut up, Eddie. Keep going, James.
Not that hard.
Joey, when you think of apocalyptic movies, what comes to mind? I mean, further back than the one you mentioned earlier, the 1990s. Further back.
Oh, you're wanting one further back than the 90s? Because the comedy, This Is the End, comes up. Danny McBride is just crazy.
What about Mad Max Road Warrior?
Yeah.
The first one was awesome.
I guess there's a new Mad Max coming out soon.
Supposed to be, but I know it's
really?
a disappointment, yeah.
Oh, well. All right, let me ask you this question. When you think of money, I don't mean gold or silver bars.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of money, cash, what do you think of, like, on the front of these? What are those predominantly? What are they? Dead presidents, right?
That's it. Another name for monies.
Okay, now, the dead president that killed, I believe it was the second U.S. bank. Do you recall who that was?
Andrew Jackson?
Exactly. And get
Just being on there.
Right.
But, yes, we got Andrew Jackson to thank for prolonged the last 100-plus years. Again, the creature from Jekyll Island.
I think they should take Jackson off and just put a big middle finger.
Oh, no.
That would be the most popular $20 bill I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
People, would they be hoarding it, though, or would they spending
Yep,
it?
they'd be hoarding it. The government would love this.
Gentlemen, it's always my pleasure. And, another point. See, I don't have a cell phone. I'm one of the 18%.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So when I'm driving down the road, Highway 14 particularly, between my little nest here and the county seat, when I'm driving down the road and I hear, oh, gosh, I need to make a comment. I wish I had a, So it was about people preferring to support these big corporations as opposed to the little people.
Yep.
And I feel this on a regular basis. And so I'm going to stop right there. I don't want to be too self-serving. Of course, people that know me know that I'm not too far above that.
Gotcha.
Well, you're
there
only
was always Food Outlet, Joey. Food Outlet Prattville, Food Outlet Millbrook. You go in there and look for the book. Just ask them for the book. They'll point it out to you.
All right.
Well,
I appreciate
have a
it,
nice
James.
day.
You too.
Thank you, James. Speaking of Food Outlet, I just got a picture of Randall in the wild going into a food outlet.
Really?
Yep. Somebody sent me a picture. So that's Randall in the wild.
And then our ugly mugs being up on the TV there at Seafood Bistro. I appreciate Paul doing that.
I love Paul doing that. In fact, I'm sporting a shirt, Seafood Bistro.
Yeah, that's a good
And I had a
spot.
great lunch there today.
Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is George. How you doing?
Good, George. How you doing, bud?
George.
I'm doing well. Speaking of apocalyptic fiction, I have read a lot of that. And when you say nuclear, most people think about bombs going off. But are you familiar with the electromagnetic pulse?
Sure.
Yep.
Well, is that counted as part of the atomic scenario, or is that something else?
I think that'd be under that umbrella.
It would be in there, yeah.
It wouldn't be as destructive as thermonuclear war, but it'd be pretty destructive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would all be self-imposed. EMP, electromagnetic pulse, is a theme for a lot of stuff these days. And all it takes, they say, is a bomb on each coast of the United States out over the ocean at a certain altitude, and it'll just it'll sap everything. That's what they say.
Yep.
And then civilization falls apart slowly as things break down, I got tired of reading that stuff.
Yeah, if it's going to happen,
sounds,
okay, whatever, it's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it all sounds plausible, the things they talk about.
Of course.
So, just like I got tired of watching The Walking Dead. I mean, that's not plausible, but the breakdown of civilization is plausible to me these days.
Well, and I sometimes wonder how much does the idea of decline or the apocalypse come with, like, the rise and decline of somebody's life? Like, there's this old philosopher, I think it's Epicurus, said, it's not that I will die, it's the world will end. And that people are kind of playing out this whole rise and fall within their own life. Of course, you get young people that are ornery and thinking the world's about to end, and you have older folks that are childlike and loving life and are happy with what they're doing. But it does seem to track that way, where you go through the stages of life, you project that onto the whole world.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. That's what it was like that with old people during the Cold War. I was a kid during those times, and old people said the world's going to end with nuclear bombs. They had lived through World War II, and now it's going to be over. Anyway, I just had to throw that in about the EMT because I get all these ads on Facebook about science fiction, and they're all about a 10-book set after the electromagnetic pulse takes away everything. And I don't read them no more. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, George.
George.
To
272-9228.
make some money off that, aren't you? A couple of them quick books. People are buying them.
Line 4, you're on the air. Who's this?
Line 4, this one from Pike County.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Sammy.
Hey, guys. First off, James, I got you a phone, brother. It's one that the government gave me, and it's still in the box, brand new. Yeah. It's so Chinese, this phone.
It's not tapped or nothing.
It's got a fresh COVID smell. Pardon?
It's not tapped or nothing. The government gave it to you. It's a good
no.
phone.
This one, what's the name of it? It's 4 letters, Wiku, or it's known to be tracked.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. No, when you were talking about the missing generations, that's something I saw firsthand in El Salvador.
Mm-hmm.
After the 13-year civil war, we rolled in there in the early 90s. There was literally, you could see it. Now, Salvador, a little Catholic country, no protection. Hey, guess what? They had that pretty good population. And but even way out in the jungle, there were people in the village. But you started realizing how young or really old people were around you. And so we run forward all these years later, 30 years later, and we have all these crazed folks coming out of El Salvador, your MS-13 and whatnot. And I wonder just how much of that was just, well, of course, bad environment, but lack of parents. And I was just going to compare that to what we're seeing now in the Ukraine, where you're having generations wiped out. And I feel for the about 30 years, 20 years down the line, the next generation of children. Are there any children over there? I don't know. They may be rotating them out, but that was my mishmash. I've seen it, man. Where people were noticeably missing, and there's going to be side effects. All right.
Oh yeah, appreciate it, Sam.
Thank you, Sammy.
272-9228. Great seeing you at the bomb house.
Oh, well, Sam looks great too, by the way.
Yeah, he is looking.
He is looking good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Unlike you and me.
He did kind of make us look a little bit bad because he's done so much good with himself. But you and me, we just kind of let it roll.
I had somebody tell me, I'm like, I'm self-conscious how fat I am. You know this.
You should be.
And, right. Thank you for that. And this person said, well, you looked fine doing those push-ups. Like in the sauna, I did 100 I broke it up like 25, 10, like just get 100 done.
So Mike told you look good in the sauna doing push-ups?
I didn't say Mike.
Oh.
And
Doug?
No, it wasn't a man. And I said, yeah, but how did I look when I was on my back then trying to breathe?
Joey!
So I went from like, daggum, Joey's a beefcake.
Right.
He looks strong to like, oh no, Joey looks like a beached whale. It's all on the front. That's why the back looks
Someone was trying to compliment you, and you took that and said, oh yeah? I'll see your compliment, and I'll bash myself a little bit.
Well, this is the basis of a relationship.
I see. Take some good from it. Once in a while, accept
I'll try. No promises. This part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health. Well, two things can happen as we get older, fellas. One is erectile dysfunction, problems in the bedroom. Or it could be just a more generalized problem like low testosterone. Don't wait to get these problems fixed. I know you might be ashamed about it, but don't be. Don't wait. Go buy Montgomery Men's Health today. They were created just to help out guys like you. And, the reality is pills often quit working. Guys start making excuses for coming to bed. There are actually studies that now show men will be more irritable and argumentative on purpose right before bedtime to avoid failing at intimacy. So if you are feeling these symptoms, lack of motivation, drive, including sex drive, lack of energy, feel like you're walking through your life always in a fog, knowing whether you have low testosterone is huge in combating some of these issues. And the providers there at Montgomery Men's Health will conduct a testosterone-focused lab workup plus a consultation for only $99. And Montgomery Men's Health has low-T treatments that can truly change lives. Men can experience higher energy, better gains in the gym, better mental clarity, improved sleep patterns, a faster metabolism you usually even notice, and increased libido. And you can actually book the same day that you call. That number, 440-3663. That's 440-3663. Or go to MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com to book your appointment today.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Montgomery, I just have one question. What kind of car are you shopping for? If you want new Toyotas, pre-owned vehicles, and our best customer service and prices, it's all here at Toyota of Montgomery. No matter what you're looking for, the selection of new Toyotas are huge. Shop every model in every trim. Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Highlander. Plus, get an exceptional value with our certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll look, drive, and even smell brand new. The only difference is they cost thousands less. So what car are you shopping for? Chances are you can get it and save big on it at Toyota of Montgomery, because it's all here. Big selection, great values, and exceptional customer service. Hurry to Toyota of Montgomery on East Boulevard, exit 6 off 85, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group, online at toyotamontgomery.com.
Honey, did you call an electrician to put in that new bathroom outlet?
No, I thought I'd just get Cousin Ray.
He's not a real electrician.
Oh, Ray's handy. He can do anything.
Being handy and being an electrician are two different things. Electricity is complicated and potentially dangerous. Each year there are thousands of home fires caused by faulty wiring. You need an expert. To wear the Crosby Electric uniform, you have to undergo background checks, drug testing, continuing education, and rigorous safety training. When you need electrical work, or if you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric.
So, how about that nice outlet Ray installed in the bathroom?
Do you think it's safe?
It's fine. See, when I plug in my electric razor, it...
Now the lights are out. I am not sleeping a wink until you get Crosby Electric out here.
Don't take chances with electricity. Call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values.
The Health and Wealth Show. The Health and Wealth Show. The show so nice, we said it twice. Weekday evenings at 6 on News Talk 93.1 WACV. The Health...
Break it up, son. Joke's over, hey?
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Wiley Sanders Truck Lines, where dump truck drivers are in demand. Wiley Sanders is on the grow. We need dump truck drivers now. Call 855-77-9785.
Rich Thomas Weather. Hi, everybody. The first weekend of May will feel more like the first weekend in June. If you have outdoor plans, the rain chances are on the low side. Lots of sunshine today with a high temperature flirting near 90. Random, widely scattered hit-or-miss showers and storms are possible today, tomorrow, and Sunday, just like the summer forecast. Lows at night in the 60s, daytime highs Saturday and Sunday in the upper 80s, and will be near 90 again on Monday. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Web Bobo with Capital Tractor. Check out our special spring savings on Kubota zero-turn mowers, like the Kubota Z411. At 10 miles an hour, it makes cutting around bushes, beds, and trees a breeze. Powering Alabama. Capital Tractor, Montgomery, Brundage, and Greenville.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Eddie Bader in the studio with me.
Hey, Joey.
Hi, Eddie. And you know that story about why hundreds of U.S. banks may be at risk?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the reason why is, well, a high interest rate environment that's persisting longer than anybody really wanted.
Inflated, but okay, yeah.
And then also commercial real estate loans.
Yep.
And we're not saying all of them are going to fail, but
No, I
we're
don't
talking hundreds and hundreds of small and regional banks now stressed.
Yeah.
To where they might dip below capital requirements. Yada, yada, yada. So we're back to, well, just keep bailing them out a little bit, or we're just going to consolidate into a few big banks.
There's where we're messing
And
up.
it'll all be beautiful, right? Right, folks? Just beautiful. Just fine and dandy.
You remember those banks that have already failed? There's been a couple. I think 5, 6, 8, 10. Did you know, even though all the deposits are not covered by FDIC guarantees, the Biden administration covered it all?
Yep. Because we got to stop any sort of panic, any sort of contagion in the system.
But Joey, by policy and by policy with the bank and agreement with the bank, if I have anything over, I don't remember the amount anymore, but let's say it's 300,000, then that's my risk in one account. Now I can split that up into multiple accounts.
Right.
But if they're going to bail me out anyway, why bother?
Well, and I think it's a good time now to go to, well, a guy we like to call a friend. And, well, we really like him.
Oh, I love Peter.
Peter St. Onge. For the first time in our history, kids are doing worse than their parents. Maybe it has something to do with all the money printing, all the schemes we've come up with to convince ourselves that money grows on trees. Wealth actually can be just printed out and handed out by a government. Always remember, folks, the government is a predator. It produces nothing.
Thank you.
Wealth has to be created, traded, inherited. How does the government get its wealth?
They steal it.
Predators. Through and through. Now, here's Peter talking about, well, laying out the fact that now subsequent generations are not doing as well as their parents. And it's getting worse with each passing generation. So take it away, kind sir.
First time in our nation's history, 30-year-olds are doing worse than their parents. So yes, they killed the golden goose. Last week, Professor Scott Galloway went on an epic rant on MSNBC explaining to his generously hairsprayed hosts exactly what young people are going through right now. Going through the numbers, for Americans born in 1951, such baby boomers, fully 80% were earning more than their parents. By Gen X, that was down to 60%. For millennials, it's barely 50%. We can only imagine what's coming for Zoomers. Now, I've talked a lot in videos about what's happening to the young who are shut out of housing and stuck cobbling together shifts to make ends meet instead of building proper careers. They're eating ramen with the roommates instead of building a career, a family, and a nest egg like their parents did. Indeed, many look with envy upon the boomers who seem to get life on easy mode. So what happened? The federal government, runaway spending and Fed-induced crisis after crisis that wiped out the productive economy, replacing it with a progressive wonderland where it's very hard to succeed, but if you fail, you win the welfare lotto. Thing is, the careers and money is just the start. As Galloway points out, the pool of young men who can provide is drying up. As a result, young people are not having sex, they're not even going out. In 1990, 60% of Americans in their early 30s had kids. Now it is down to 27%. Young Americans are more depressed, more obese, more addicted. As Galloway puts it, they're pissed off, and that anger means that every issue is a, quote, opportunistic infection driving them to rage. The Columbia protests being a crisp illustration at the moment. In fact, just last week, CNBC reported a new study on the rising wealth gap among millennials, which builds that anger even more. In short, the main driver of inequality among the young right now is inheritance. Those who choose their parents wisely get the boomer trickle-down, lording it over their peers. Indeed, according to the study, the wealth gap among millennials is now the largest of any generation, creating, quote, a new wave of tension and resentment. So they're poorer, on average 1/3 poorer than boomers were at their age, with lower levels of home ownership, low-wage and unstable jobs, and larger debts. Yet, the top 10% of millennials are far richer than the top 10th of boomers ever were. Given these nouveau-riche millennials don't have kids, of course, they're driving a boom in everything from luxury travel to wealth management to in-town condos with all the amenities. Maybe you've seen the TikTok videos of the dinks, double income, no kids, living it up in Bali whilst their peers sell their plasma. CNBC calls them Nepo babies, and it's all thanks apparently to dead boomers, the last available resource to the young. Well, some of the young. So what's next? Brought to you by Unchained.com. I usually talk about economics, inflation, income, wealth, and debt. But the reason isn't the money, it's what poverty does to people, turning life into a struggle, crushing their dreams. The progressive Sovietization of the American economy is destroying 2 generations and counting, and is turning us into a third world economy where your future is not built on hard work, it's built on who your parents are. There's still time. We still have millions of entrepreneurs, millions of self-made Americans to teach the next generation, but the American dream is dying before our eyes. Check out the full article with charts and all the gory details at profsange.com. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.
Again, Peter St. Onge, and his analysis is always spot on with a little bit of mirth, but also a bit of medicine snuck in there. And it is a weird time.
It is. You know, there's kind of a joke, and it's more of a TikTok joke, but people younger than you, not your age, but younger than you, say in their late 20s, maybe mid-20s, they're not going to be able to buy a house. They're going to have to go shack up with some old widow and hope that because they can't afford the down payment, they can't afford the payment. They just can't afford it. So their whole goal is to shack up with an old widow and try to wait it out.
So you're saying I should get good at giving foot massages?
I've been trying to find you some of those old widows. In fact, a friend of mine the other night when we were at Baumhauer's, I put her in on the deal. She said she'll start keeping her eye open for you too.
It's mighty whitey.
I thought so.
Appreciate
I
it.
thought so. But in reality, there are more and more people coming onto the real estate market than there was 6 months ago, 4 months ago. And I don't know if it's because they are, like the Fed wanted, they're used to the interest rates, or people are saying, you know what, it's my life. I'll take these risks.
Yes.
I'll plan on refinancing just like it has happened in the past, which is, I appreciate that, because you got to believe in yourself. I started believing in myself. It took a lot of years, but I started believing in myself in my mid-40s and went out on my own. And I wish I'd have done it in my mid-20s.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, and this is why we recommend working with great local folks like Alabama Home
100%.
Mortgage. So if you are, again, we say this often, don't think about just the national trends. You can't control what the federal government's doing. What you can control is, well, how you manage your own finances. And especially if you've got a home with equity built up, it's a great way to reinvest in yourself, your property, or your family. Maybe you do want to help out your kids as they're starting life anew, maybe in a new city, and you want to help them out. A refinance deal through Alabama Home Mortgage can be a weird update. Rabid raccoon found in Autauga County. Is that big news to you?
Rabies, yeah.
Anyway, Alabama Home Mortgage can help you, of course, with also the home buying process. And, you know, folks who don't know it, if you're a first-time buyer, potentially, they'll walk you through that process from pre-approval, and you need to get pre-approved, folks. It shows here, well, this is what they're good for.
Right.
And so sellers will take you seriously.
It sets you a budget, too. It knows exactly what you, because you don't want to go looking and fall in love with a $500,000 house, only to find out you're only approved for $300,000.
Right.
This is really, to me, your first and second step you need to do.
And when you're working with Alabama Home Mortgage, you're not going to get any surprises on closing day, these sorts of things. They're going to walk you through that process swimmingly and, and actually get to know you and your goals in owning a home. And if you're a veteran, they specialize in the VA home loan program.
Best deal in town.
Really is the best deal in town. And especially if you're a veteran and you haven't taken advantage of these benefits you earned through your service.
Yes, you did.
Let Kim and Madeline help you today. That number for Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can always apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies. Let Kim and Madeline prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Make 2024 the year you break away from the chain stores and join us here at Adams Drugs. We value your business and want to provide you the best customer service at the lowest possible price. We've been serving up excellent customer service here in the River region for over 62 years.
I made the swap to Adams Drugs and I couldn't be happier. Having a job and then getting 3 kids to all of their activities keeps me busy. I don't have an hour to waste waiting on a prescription. At Adams, they know me and my family. I get in and out in minutes, and when I can't get by Adams, they'll bring the prescription right to my door.
What are you waiting for? Come in to Adams Drugs and let us earn your business. Our friendly and personal staff will talk with you and answer any questions you may have about your prescriptions. Your satisfaction is our #1 goal. Visit us at adamsdrugs.net for the location nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local independent Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
The Harriet 2 Riverboat offers celebrations for specialty events, like Cinco de Mayo coming May 5th. It's a cruise filled with dancing, live entertainment, tacos, nachos, margaritas, and more. It'll be a night filled with live music and more. The Mother's Day cruise coming May 12th is a treat like no other, and your mom will love it with a dinner made just for her. There's more fun and excitement each weekend all spring and summer with a variety of cruises up the Alabama on the Harriet 2. Book your cruise today on the Harriet 2 at funinmontgomery.com.
The Tierce family has been your local Roto-Rooter service since 1964. Drain cleaning, plumbing repair, and those troublesome septic tanks, no problem. Technology has changed a bit in the last 54 years. Video inspections of lines to locate problems is available, as well as scheduling your appointment online. River Region residents have trusted Roto-Rooter for over half a century. You can too. Call today at 272-7130 or visit online at rotorooteralabama.com.
Call Roto-Rooter, that's the name. And legal troubles down the drain. Roto-Rooter.
Now you can add the power of digital advertising to the #1 reach of radio. Let Blue Water's 20 years of local advertising and marketing success show you how. Grow your business with a complete suite of digital solutions, combined with the reach of the most listened to radio group in the River region. Call us or go to BlueWaterBroadcasting.com to find out how we can increase your return on investment. Blue Water Broadcasting, local folks helping local business.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group. Have you ever considered turning your home into a rental and build wealth at the same time? People throughout the River region are doing that right now. By investing wisely in the right property or turning your current home into a rental is the secret. Hiring a property manager to professionally manage your property is the way to prosperity. Our company does all of the advertising, personally showing prospective tenants, does a thorough background check and credit report before moving forward. Over 15 critical services are provided to our clients in protecting the asset, but also providing the best residence in your home possible. Collecting rent on time and frequent inspections help landlords feel better about renting their house, and to provide clean, well-kept homes that anybody would be proud to call home. For a complete list of property management services, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 221-2883 or 551-0225.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Trustworthy, accurate, immediate. Carrying your voice across the River region. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
This is how you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. 272-9228 if you want to get it on the program. That's 272-9228. And in a second, we should be talking to Michael Cohen of Cohen's Electronics and Appliances. Is that Michael there? Okay. Hey, Michael, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing great.
Good to hear. Now, do you want to talk about this recent conference you went to? Anything you find out?
You know, it's part of our buying group, and it's the audio video portion. So we go. It was very educational. They talked about a lot of different procedures of how to do some of the installs and what the customers need, and some of the products that actually allow us to know we sell some power centers as well as some networking devices, and then we can actually pull it up on a computer and see what's offline, what's connected, what's not connected. And it kind of gives us a heads up of what the customer could be going through. And sometimes, you see that the Apple TV is offline, and you call the customer, and then the customer will tell you, well, it's offline because I'm replacing it. I bought a new one.
Oh, okay.
And so the old one's off, and the new one in 10 minutes will be back on. So it kind of gives you a lot more control to know what's going on with some of the bigger systems that we do install.
Well, and I mean, y'all's service is already great.
Yeah.
But like you can add that element to it. I mean, you're just giving more tools to an already great staff.
Well, and and that's the key is you want to make everything where it's better for the customer, and a lot of times making it better for the customer makes it better for the employee as well to be able to diagnose without having to run a truck. So that to me is a big advantage, especially for some of our customers that live in Auburn or the lake, that I can't just pop over there in 2 minutes to see what's going on.
Well, and this is why y'all say there at Cohen's, we deliver confidence. And folks, it's on, those great electronic, like say you create a whole home theater system there with Cohen's. They got your back, but of course they can help you on the appliance end as well, whether you're trying to build out a kitchen or upgrade, say a fridge or maybe a new washer dryer unit. They do it all there at Cohen's. You can always go to thinkcohens.com. But I really encourage you to stop by the Boulevard there, 2515 Eastern Boulevard, right here in Montgomery. They're open 9 to 6, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4 on Saturdays. And be sure to find Michael or one of the great team members. Be like, hey, we heard Michael on with those two idiots on the air, or Joey and Eddie.
Could be 3 idiots.
We always got room for you, Michael.
Well, thank you. Glad to be a part.
Well, I hope you have a good weekend, Michael. Appreciate it, sir.
All right, you too. Take
See you,
care.
buddy.
272-9228. Yeah, I like him a lot. Let's go to line 3. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, Joey, I was just wanted to ask you what off air. What bank was that in that you were having that issue with? You don't want to say on the air?
I'll pick it up off air.
Okay, I was just curious. I've got 2 accounts, 2 different banks.
Give me just
I'll put you on hold.
Yeah, give me a minute. I'll talk to you.
Okay, it's
Thanks.
Rudy. Thanks.
Thanks, Rudy.
I saw him the other day. Not just at bomb hours. Like, I keep seeing him in the neighborhood.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Well,
I'm at an intersection, stopped at a stop sign, and he just stops right there in the middle of the road and points. And I'm like, hey, you.
That sounds like Rudy.
Good guy.
Oh, great guy. And that's one thing about our show. And everybody has their favorite callers and all. I love everybody, man. It's so great. I mean, I'll be out and about, and I'm sure it happens to you, Joey, where they'll come up to you and they're kind of giving you a look. You're like, oh boy, something's to go down. And it's always a listener to the show. And I've never had negative. Everybody's been always very positive. They do say that we give each other too much of a hard time.
What do you mean?
Well, we even got a friend of ours that wants to come in as a referee, Joey.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we'll allow it, but if you can't give your friends a hard time, who can you give a hard time
Exactly. In this day and time, I can give Joey a hard time and I don't have to worry about him beating me up. And he can give me a hard time. It's vice versa.
Right.
That's what friends do.
Right. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Charles.
Hey, Eddie. My account number for my bank is 5567629 millimeters. That's where my money stays. I do not a bank, especially with that. It started with me really not trusting them when Canada did what they did to those truckers.
Yes, sir.
And as soon as I knew they could do that with a push of a button, that's all I needed to know, because we're well more advanced than Canada, and I know good and well they could do the same thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're just waiting on my feeling is they're just waiting on the call.
Well, my thing is just, I mean, you can have a bank account, which I'm teasing. I have a bank account, but I use that bank account for bills.
Yeah.
That's it. Anything other than that, I mean, it's in the safe I just told you.
Yep.
I mean, that's, because, I mean, things are too shaky right now. I mean, first of all, they had screwed up asking me where did the money come from. I mean, it's nobody's business.
Oh, but they sure feel like it's theirs. And they're looking out for you.
It's a directive from on high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, get this. I'll tell you this real quick because I know you got other callers. My mom, I was talking to my mom from North Carolina. She went and paid my brother's taxes this year, his property tax, to help him out because he had a slow period.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the bank, now this is a cashier's check, and it was a chunk because North Carolina's expensive when it comes to right. So anyway, I know it was a chunk. She didn't tell me how much, but I know it was. Anyway, it was a cashier's check. Well, the bank sent the money. Well, it ended up that the place didn't cash the check and send it back to the bank because she had sent it to the wrong place. She had sent it to Atlanta, and it needed to go somewhere up in Charlotte or Raleigh or somewhere like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, long story short, it took them 90 days from a cashier's check to give my mother her money back, and didn't even know, could not. She said, "You telling me in this day and age you can't push a button and tell me where the AT double hockey sticks my money is?" And I said, "I'm telling you, they know where your money is, but they didn't want to let that money go."
Yep, they know.
Because they don't have the money to back it up. They don't. If you go and ask to try to get $80,000 out of your account, I guarantee you, it will take 2 weeks to get that money.
If that, yeah. It just, they'll do anything under the sun to try to keep you from getting that money.
Yep, because they don't have the money. So see, that bill or whatever, it expired. So they have to keep X amount of money for every deposit they get. They have to keep it in the bank. I forget what that's called, but they don't have the money in the bank.
Reserve requirements, it's fractional reserve banking.
Yeah, it's all that expired. So now banks have to do that. That's why you see all these banks going out of business because they don't have the money. It's all built on faith. When you go and buy something, our dollar ain't worth a hoot. It's all built on faith. And soon as Americans realize that our money's worthless, I mean, that's when it's really going to hit the fan. So, but anyway.
Right.
Appreciate it, Charles. Good call.
And good luck, Joey. I hope you get you a good cougar, boy. I mean, get you a good look.
Thank you, sir.
If she's not good looking, just make sure she's at least got a nice house with a pool.
Said house.
Yeah, nice house with a pool. Oh, no, nice house with a house.
Yeah, I thought you said
home.
I thought you said arse. Like, whoa.
I mean, that's not a bad thing either, but make sure she's got a good house.
You can do side bends or sit-ups, but please don't lose that.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Workers removing a bridge over a Connecticut highway that was damaged in a crash involving a gasoline tanker truck. Both sides of Interstate 95 in Norwalk will be closed through the weekend and extend the traffic nightmare on the major artery linking New England and New York. About 160,000 vehicles travel that section of I-95 in both directions daily. The second week of testimony in Donald Trump's criminal case wraps up in New York City. Democratic U.S. Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas and his wife have been indicted on conspiracy and bribery charges in connection with a federal probe into their lives with the former Soviet Republic in Azerbaijan. On Wall Street, the Dow had nearly 500 points, the Nasdaq up 330. This is SRN News.
This is a red alert for hard-working Americans who are tired of seeing their freedoms and retirement savings threatened by the globalist agenda. Wealth Protection Research is on a mission to find whistleblowers who are exposing these schemes. Real patriotic financial warriors like Jim Rickards and Porter Stansberry. They're not afraid to tell it like it is and fight back against the system. Now, with the 2024 election storming our way, your IRA and your 401k may be in the crosshairs. That's why we've compiled our 3 favorite ideas into our Election Protection Report. You definitely won't hear any of these in the mainstream news. Get your free copy of our Election Protection Report now. Just text TRUTH to 76626. Plus, today you'll also get a free gold investment kit from our sponsor, Augusta Precious Metals. Text TRUTH to 76626 now and get the free report and gold investment kit. The fight for your financial freedom is on. Text the word TRUTH to 76626.
Standard text and data rates may apply.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network is brought to you by the Johnny Adams Law Firm. They want you to stay safe on the road. Please don't text and drive. Get to your destination safely. Your family and friends will thank you. From the Johnny Adams Law Firm.
Well, hi, everybody. This very warm weather pattern is locked in right on through the upcoming weekend. Rain chances are very much on the low side as we go through the evening hours tonight, with the low temperature down to about 64. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 80s with random hit or miss showers and storms here and there. It's a good forecast down on the coast, too, with daily highs right around 80 and not much change early next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
For the lowest prices around on flooring and DIY flooring installation supplies, Budget Floors & More is your new best friend. Luxury vinyl plank, carpet, ceramic tile, floor installation supplies, and more with prices lower than the big box stores. Budget Floors & More, Hunter Lane across from Del Rey Publix.
1819 News.
The Alabama Supreme Court has authorized another execution of a death row inmate. This execution will be the second to be done by nitrogen hypoxia. At the start of 2024, the first inmate to be put to death with this new method was Kenneth Smith. Now the state attorney general has requested approval to proceed with Alan Eugene Miller, who had a botched lethal injection called off back in 2022. Miller is challenging this new execution method based off of what was witnessed at Smith's execution in January. Lawyers for Miller say that the state is misrepresenting how Smith died, saying it was with no pain or severe reactions. Attorney General Steve Marshall calls it textbook. Miller has been serving time for the murders of his 3 co-workers back in 2000. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this. Some of the greatest blessings is just having people that care about you, to have someone that's just going to love you and make you feel important. They encourage you to be in church. They encourage you to be in prayer. They encourage you to be in your Bible. Now it's a part of my day every day. My house parents planted seeds in me that you can see where those seeds have sprouted in my life and helped change my life.
Big Oak Ranch, a Christian home for children needing a chance.
The parent company of Facebook, Meta Platforms, is planning to open up a data center here in Alabama. The $800 million facility will be located in Montgomery and create about 100 jobs. Meta has another data center already established in Huntsville. Governor Ivey is touting this new announcement from the California-based company, saying the state of Alabama is committed to helping Meta grow and prosper here. This weekend, the Alabama Strawberry Festival will be held in Coleman, Alabama. Over a dozen live bands will be taking part in this festival. There will also be a doggy pageant and baking contests that uses strawberries, of course. Artisans, farmers, and food vendors will also be in full supply. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
It's time to show Mom how much you appreciate her with a Jenny Lynn's floral creation for Mother's Day. Skip the grocery store flowers and make one quick call, 285-1000. Roses, lilies, beautiful bouquets, and gift baskets designed just for Mom. Call Jenny Lynn's Creations, 285-1000.
Hi, this is Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop. Listen every Saturday to Winning Wellness and learn from experts in different fields of science and technology how nutritional supplements can help you.
Listen to Winning Wellness every Saturday at 10 a.m.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste.
And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
I got hairy legs.
Stop playing with it.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm your host, Joey Clark. We have Eddie Bader in the studio.
How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing all right. Been a pretty good Friday so far. A lot of calls. Appreciate all the participation.
Oh, yeah. Lots of people are wanting to talk about some of the same things we're talking about.
Yeah, well, the money issue is a real thing, man. Now, to go what's been in national news, because you're asking me, is there anything upbeat? Like, not really.
I just went through it again, and there's not much out there.
There's Hope Hicks just got done testifying.
Oh,
by the way, remember how Trump was on these airwaves? He was on with Dan Morris?
Yes, I do.
Around this time.
I brag about that quite often.
And I was the one who had to answer the phone off air. I was the producer at the time for Dan. And I am almost certain that it was Hope Hicks on the other line.
And you didn't try to get her digits?
No, because
I'm
not a creep.
That's not creepy.
Yeah,
That's
it
called-
is.
Joey?
No,
That's
she asked
networking.
me, tell me how many minutes before we come in. Mr. Trump is a very busy man.
As if you didn't know that already.
And I just looked up and go, we got 3 minutes. Hold on. We're playing this Reagan lead in. And, oh, that's actually great. And I'm like, yeah, in my head, I'm like, no crap, woman.
Joey, good call on not bothering getting that number. Good call.
Seemed a little high maintenance for me.
Yep. Good call.
Yeah, some of these broads. Anyway, one woman we do love is Senator Brett, right?
By all means.
So what I want to do is a tale of two approaches here.
Okay.
Here's Senator Brett asking the Education Secretary, Miguel Cardona, or something like that, Miguel, about what's going on college campuses and what the Biden administration's doing to respond to it.
As you are aware and have heard from a number of my colleagues, the large anti-Semitic demonstration and encampments that have broken out on college campuses nationwide are simply unacceptable. This has become, some of our elite institutions, quote unquote. To me, it's just a national disgrace, and it's a disservice to America's future. Going back to November, Republican senators, myself included, have written multiple letters urging you to uphold Title VI of the Civil Rights Act and ensure that a safe learning environment exists for Jewish students. I know the department has opened investigations, and I've heard you reference that today, into some of these institutions, including Columbia. However, things have clearly not gotten better over the last 5 or 6 months, and in fact, in recent weeks and even days, it's proven that they've gotten significantly worse. So, Mr. Secretary, does the Biden administration really believe that it is effectively upholding Title VI and ensuring a safe learning environment for Jewish students right now? Just a simple yes or no.
Thank you, first of all, Senator, because I agree with you. The anti-Semitism that students are experiencing on campus is unacceptable.
Thank you.
We're committed to making sure we investigate Title.
And so investigation is one thing, but do you think right now that this administration is upholding Title VI?
We are, with the resources that we have. We're here to request additional investigators. In 2009, the number of cases has tripled since 2009, and we have 58 less people
But
investigating.
how long does this have to go on? I mean, if you look at these, the absurdity of some of this just rhetoric on these campuses when they're saying, we are Hamas. I mean, do you think that is acceptable for a Jewish student to have to hear that? Or from the river to the sea, or go back to Poland, or kill the Jews? My question is, do you think that
We shouldn't use that as a drop, should we? No, I don't think that'd be inappropriate.
type of rhetoric is acceptable? And do you think that allows for Jewish students to feel safe on campus? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Well, and so and Senator Britt's not alone in this. I've been joining with a lot of her colleagues in the Senate calling for action by the Biden administration. Biden did finally give a 3-minute little speech about how we believe in the rule of law, but we're also believe in free speech. And
I got the free speech. I got no trouble with that at all. And there can be many hateful things said. I get that.
But here's a slightly different take. This is from that same guy we quoted earlier, Aaron McIntyre.
Hey, Aaron.
Right. AURON.
My bad.
Aaron McIntyre. Don't save Democrats from their own campus disaster. My dear conservative friends, writes Aaron McIntyre, we need to have a talk. This is more of an intervention than anything else. You must stop protecting institutions that are committed to destroying your way of life. The university system hates you. It always has. It will continue to hate you until it is dismantled brick by brick and replaced with something else, something better. The universities will just never be into you. And if two factions of the left want to destroy themselves while shutting down college campuses, that's what we in politics like to call a win. You don't need to ride to the rescue. You aren't the white knight in this scenario. Just grab some popcorn and enjoy the show. I promise this will work out in your favor if you let it. Protests surrounding the whole thing, well, I'll leave it there. Because you get the point that he's trying to make.
And I like it, except for with what happened in UCLA. If we were all just sit back and watch our popcorn or eat our popcorn, things would have gotten much worse. It's the fact that people started raising Cain. And I would have loved to just watch it burn because I'm not a big fan of the university program. I think it's regardless what I think of it, higher education is fine, just not the way they do it.
Yeah.
It's right up there with the environmental acts and all that. It's a scam. It's a scam.
But the action of these radicals is always in the reaction. Why would they defame George Washington Monument?
I saw that.
To get you to go do something, right?
I still ain't over the...
And then when you go to do something, you're like, well, look at the fascists.
Okay. And you know me, Joey. I'll cut off my nose to spite my face.
That's true. I saw you deal with that bank teller, or at least I heard about it.
So if that's going to be the case, I will take off my shirt and I will allow you to spray paint fascists across my chest when I go do it. That way they know.
Okay. Wow.
I'm just tired. I'm tired of taking it. You know.
I get it, but that's part of their plan for you to not take it anymore.
What if my plan is to let them take it for a little bit, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, that could be it. Or it could be let them destroy themselves.
I don't have time for that.
Just saying.
I know. That's a very good point.
There's two different approaches here. Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Papa B.
Hey, Papa B.
Hey. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, if Republicans just jump in there, guess what? The Democrats are just as happy as they can be to let them be the ones to solve the problem and wash their hands of it. Yeah, I mean, and that's the the dumbness of the Republicans. Yeah, something needs to be done. I don't want the violence. I don't want to hear somebody scream death to America or death to Israel or anything like that, but goodness gracious, let the Democrats cook in their own stew. I don't think that I could ask for a better outcome. It's their problem. They created it. Why not? It might get a little rough. I don't know, and I hope not. But if it does, more power to it. I guess. I mean, I don't, like I said, more power to the idea that the Democrats are going to get boiled in their own stew type thing. Joey, right at the end of the show yesterday, I came on and I said, Xi Jinping is going to do anything with Taiwan. It better be quick. And this morning I read an article where dozens of Chinese ships are surrounding Taiwan.
And I'm seeing also your headline in front of me. U.S. spies see China and Russia militaries working closer on Taiwan.
Yep, I saw that too.
Stepping up a little pressure.
And what do you say to this? The article that I read maybe just a week ago, maybe not even a week ago, that said 7,000% increase in Chinese nationals, young men coming across the border.
Oh, yeah.
How does that factor into your thinking there, bud?
You were asking about a full-on invasion, and I said that they probably won't do that given the difficulties of actually doing that, no matter the U.S. or anybody else's response. Or I said they might flatten it. They have the capability to do that, but they're too reliant still on the semiconductor production, like everybody else. What they could do, I'd forgot about this because we were doing it fast at the end of the show, and I'm getting this from a well-known historian, author, Neil Ferguson. And he says it could be that we're already in Cold War 2.0. But this time, remember, the whole Cuban Missile Crisis and the blockade that Kennedy ordered?
Right.
It could be instead we're now the United States playing the role of the Soviets and China orders the blockade. And that might be it. It's not a full-on invasion, but it is crossing a line and calling our bluff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that would play into you mentioning those ships, more and more ships around there.
Right. And, so they would be laying siege to Taiwan.
Yeah, essentially just, siege tactics, but by the sea.
Yep.
A sea siege, if you will.
Right. So, yeah, there's maybe more than one way for China to skin that cat.
Yep.
I think so, and I think that if they are going to do whatever they're going to do, they're going to have. If Trump gets elected, they're not going to have a chance to do it again.
Right. This is their
Not
best
for
chance.
a long, long time.
This is
And
America's
maybe not
enemy's
ever.
best chance.
Maybe not ever, because an election, if America elects, if USA elects Trump again, Trump is going to change China more than China has, a chance of changing us anymore, I think. But, when I see, if I didn't know better, okay, and I see dozens of Chinese ships surrounding Taiwan and hosts of Chinese young men nationals coming across the border, and Chinese troops training actually in Canada about, I think, 4 or 5 years ago.
Yep.
If I didn't know better, I would say that they're up to something, and it ain't good.
Well, Papa B, what happens when Taiwan asks for our help? We can't do nothing.
Exactly.
And we just, we can't.
Well, and then it should be clear in American minds, and I'm getting this from a fellow named Michael Anton, who's on Trump's National Security Council. Smart guy there, I guess, Claremont Institute. He's a foreign policy expert. And he just said whether the Chinese were communist or just like liberal capitalists, just like us, Taiwan would still be the same issue to them. This is for them a massive red line, and that's what's fascinating about the whole conversation. How much is the United States, Japan, South Korea, the other surrounding nations, are they willing to go across China's red line?
Yep.
I view Taiwan as a problem that most of our presidents never really wanted.
No,
but they've
they
got
ignored
anyway.
it. That's why
They
it's
wish
in
they
the South
didn't
too.
have to do. They wish they could have just said, "Okay, well here it is." But Taiwan represents the last beacon of freedom of what used to be China. It would be like, all the Republicans being driven to, let's just use for analogy Cuba, and us having to, operate out of there, and then finally the deep state Democrat, all that socialist stuff, finally coming in and taking us out. Is the kind of analogy I would draw. So I think it's important, that we do support Taiwan. However, are we going to be able to, just like Eddie said, we're going to be stretched in Europe. If we have to deal with things at home here too, which I do believe that we will.
I think so.
If World War III breaks out, it's not going to be over there anymore.
Nope.
It's going to be everywhere, and I mean everywhere, even here.
Yep.
And so, here, like in Montgomery, I don't know, but here, inside, continental United States. So, anyway.
Well, and Taiwan's a big deal, not just for, say, ideological or moral reasons.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think the more I read history and watch the United States today, all the moral talk is just talk. Taiwan's big for geopolitical, geostrategic reasons.
Yeah.
It's essentially an unsinkable aircraft carrier.
Right.
That
Will
could
it tip over if they get too
many people on one side?
Let's ask the congressman from Georgia. But if China, say, could take Taiwan, they could then very easily start to push out into what the so-called first island chain.
Expands their footprint hugely.
And if a land power like this empire that's almost being built, this cooperation between China and Russia in particular, if a Asian land power like this new alliance would be can penetrate the periphery that our naval capacity now allows us, that puts us in a very weak position to control trade routes. There are other ways around this, potentially, without full-on war, where you're like, okay, great, you took the South China Sea, you took the Straits of Taiwan, you took Taiwan. We're good friends with India, and they control the Straits of Malacca.
Except for
it could get complicated here, but it's the game afoot. The stakes are much more about geostrategic positioning, and also China facing a demographic time bomb. They're about to lose massive amounts of population, so they got to act within the next few years. It's a serious question, and even some of the doves on Ukraine and Israel, what's going on, I think like John Mearsheimer, he says Taiwan should be defended. Like, there are a lot of folks who are seeing this is the big geostrategic question right now.
It's very complex, and there are a lot of moving parts.
Yep.
I'm sure the calculations are regularly going on. You know, Japan has got to be ringing the alarm bells if Taiwan falls, as does Australia and the Philippines. You know, India maybe not so much so, but, you know, you get that kind of superpower going, especially one that's aggressively communist, they just can't stop. They don't know where to stop. And, you know, history has proven, if anything, history has proven that to be true.
Yep.
So it's a big deal, and I don't, of course, none of us know what's going to happen, but if I didn't know better, I would say that we're going to be stretched thin over in Europe and Asia, you know, or Middle East, and at home, we're going to be compromised, and that's when China will see whatever opportunity it can see, and that's when they'll try to do it.
Well,
my analysis, anyway.
No, great call. Appreciate it, man.
All right, yes. Thank you.
I don't think India is going to be there for us when we want them to be. They've kind of openly said that they've got a kind of a friendship with everybody, and we're no better than anybody else. And then Biden come out yesterday and called Japan and India a bunch of xenophobes. So
good job, Joe.
Right.
But, you know, I'm sure all sorts of plans are being made, not so much by people pretending to run things like Joe Biden, but, you know, by like CIA types. This is an older clip that just kind of reminds you of what you probably already know. This is Mike Pompeo talking about, well, let's just listen in.
When I was a cadet, what's the cadet motto at West Point? You will not lie, cheat, or steal, or tolerate those who do. I was the CIA director. We lied, we cheated, we stole. It was like we had entire training courses.
Take a little pride in that, don't we?
Yeah, and they also left out killing. Lie, cheat, steal, and kill.
So when CIA was first brought around, that was their goal. That's how we were sold to the American people. Hey, we're going to lie, we're going to cheat, we're going to steal for you.
No, I don't think that's how it was sold.
Me neither.
And there's even like private communications. Truman realized he kind of made a mistake. Eisenhower, that's what he's warning about with the military-industrial complex in many ways. Kennedy, of course, was probably killed by the agency.
Not a doubt.
And, yeah.
Speaking of that, if Trump does get back in power, do you think some of those things that he didn't let go, he'll let go of now, like Kennedy?
I have no clue. I've stopped trying to predict what
And the
Trump
reason I
will
say
do.
that is I think he did people a favor in his mind by not releasing it, and those same people have turned around and stabbed him in the back.
Right. Yeah, maybe that's where we're heading with all this. 272-9228.
Truth hurts sometimes, man.
And, you know, this is the nature of the government right now. There are many who say that actually the Pentagon, I mean, DOD and the Pentagon is there for support with Ukraine, but the war is being run by the agency, being run by CIA.
100%.
And that was essentially after, you know, oh, what a conspiracy. Well, then it was confirmed, about a month ago in the New York Times, all these secret CIA bases that have been there for years. So this is why I think Putin is so cagey about it. Like, he literally was an intelligence officer himself at the KGB.
Right.
This game of cat and mouse between the two agencies, spy versus spy, been going on between our two countries for a long, long time. Though the names might change, it's a dirty game being played. I'll put it that way. What you see in the headlines, and a majority of Americans, new poll says most Americans do not trust the news.
No.
By any means. And good. Americans at least have some
glad
savvy.
they're waking up.
But 272-9228. How about this? Let's hit a quick break. Come back to the callers after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, But whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Good morning. Do you have time for lunch today? My treat.
Absolutely. But what's the occasion?
I'm in love with the new 24/7 Express kiosk at Worth Cleaners. The kiosk is so easy to use, and I can drop off and pick up on my schedule. Thank you for sharing that tip with me.
You're welcome. I'm happy to have my lunch buddy back.
Have you tried the new Worth Cleaners 24/7 Express kiosk? This is the first service of its kind in Montgomery. Customers love the convenience of dropping off and picking up dry cleaning and laundry on their schedule, day or night, 365 days a year. Even if you've never used Worth Cleaners before, you can go to their location at 7825 Vaughn Road today and use their 24/7 Express kiosk. Instructions along with several descriptive photos are posted on the wall next to the kiosk to aid customers who are first-time users. Give it a try. Visit our Vaughn Road location or find Worth Cleaners on Facebook for more information. Your family's clothing is worth it.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
She said, "Thank you so much. ChatGPT not only made the right diagnosis, but it recommended the right diagnostic test."
Dr. Robert Pearl's book is ChatGPT MD, How AI-Empowered Patients and Doctors Can Take Control of American Healthcare. And I hope he's right. Listen to What's Working Saturday noon or find us online at what'sworkingcam.com.
Hey, this is Randy with Super Pawn Center on Burbank Drive. When we advertise with Blue Water Broadcasting, we get results. Spend your money where it counts. Blue Water Broadcasting.
Blue Water Broadcasting is the #1 most listened to radio group in the River region. Find out how to put this reach to work for your business. Call us to find out how we can help. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folk helping local business.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is #1 in the #2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The Rich Thomas Weather Network, brought to you by Montgomery Paint and Body. From a little fender bender to total body repair, MPB will fix it good as new, maybe better. For over 35 years, the Turner family has been getting you back on the road. Call 279-7325.
Rich Thomas Weather. Well, hi, everybody. This very warm weather pattern is locked in right onto the upcoming weekend. Rain chances are very much on the low side as we go through the evening hours tonight, with the low temperature down to about 64. Over the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 80s with random hit or miss showers and storms here and there. It's a good forecast down on the coast, too, with daily highs right around 80 and not much change early next week. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
CB&S Bank has digital banking solutions to help you keep up. Check balances, pay bills, and much more. Learn more at cbsbank.com. Charges and fees may apply from your cellular service provider. Contact your service provider for information. Member FDIC.
All the headlines the mainstream media won't touch. Your News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back to News and Views in the afternoon. I'm Joey. This fella right across from me getting settled in is Eddie Bader.
How you doing, Joey?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
I'm much better now.
You're much better now?
Much better now, yeah.
Wow, that's good to hear.
Somebody called and they got rent money for me to pick up, so that always makes you
Oh,
day.
that is
Yeah,
nice. I got money to give you.
Yeah. Well, as he says, you got money in the streets. That's how he puts it.
Money in the streets.
That's how he puts it.
All right.
Yeah.
Money in the street. Yeah. 272-9228. That's the number Randall dialed. Hey, Randall.
What's happening, Randall?
Roll.
How you doing, man?
I
too much. It's doing good. I mean, but tell the truth, Eddie. I mean, what you get, about $15 of it? I mean, once you pay all the fees and the cleaning folks and the yard folks and the water leak you had to fix last week and the dishwasher that your warranty ran out on, you get about $15 a month.
When all things are said and done, it makes for a nice tax deduction at the end of the day.
All right, Joey, man. I mean, I can tell you, but y'all been all over today, and this ain't something that I just came straight to the radio with. This is something that I knew, it was gonna come about. I mean, and I've been at, and to be forward with everybody, because a lot of people probably don't know, and the ones that do. I had two brothers, both pastors. One of them went to college, got the degree. The other one has been they 3 years younger than me, and one of them, you know what I mean, as an elder. It was an elder in the church for about 10 years already. So, you know, man, I'm just letting you know, like, I this ain't something that I just throwing out here, because I've talked to, you know, I can't talk to one of them. He's dead. He got killed. But you know what I mean? I'm just trying to articulate this to not get in no doubt, put nobody, this is learning. This is how... because we are focused on the protest, which is fine. This is fine. Nothing. I think the protests are more to see who's gonna stand in front of Israel, and then everybody hollering about know your history. Man, we've been on that for a long time, and the younger generation about standing on your own and standing on your own 10 toes. Like, don't tell me why you think a preacher told you to believe. You know what I mean? Why you believe in? And speaking of history, Joey, and what the Congress is doing with the New Testament, wanting to pretty much outlaw it. In 1234, the Spanish bishops did the same thing. 15 days after the King James done his decipherment of it, they ordered it burned. We still are going. I don't know why. It don't even say order. It says decreed, which that's the word they used back then, because the order wasn't even a word at the time. But decreed is the word used if you're trying to look this up. And man, is it a shit show? What I'm trying to ask, we standing, Israel don't believe what we believe. Like, I mean, Jewish people don't. And they don't even recognize Christianity in Israel. They do take up for you over there, let you spend your money, but they don't recognize Christianity. I'm asking.
Wait, what do you mean by what do you mean by recognize?
Like, they don't recognize it as a religion over there in Israel. They don't recognize Christianity. No.
So there aren't Christian churches in Israel that are protected by the Israel government?
They don't, like, you can't take out something about the taxes. This is on, I learned this on other show. Maybe it ain't for a fact, but it was shared on another show that they don't recognize it. And so and they let you go there, spend your money, but you have to, you know what I mean, that they don't really, they protect Christians over there, but they don't believe that the Messiah came. So we pretty much saying you're a liar, you know. So are they going to snatch the veil out and say, all right, well, then if that's the case, even your own people say burn the New Testament. We trying to outlaw it. If we, you know what I mean, if y'all going to stand on it, and do y'all really believe in it? You know what I mean? Like, how do we join with the Jewish people to fight the good fight to you know what I mean, as a whole, I guess you could use it. I guess the word Christianity wasn't the right word to use, but they're not believing that Jesus, the Messiah, came, and we believing that they have killed the Messiah. How do we connect at the hip to fight together? I mean, we're not even looking at the same playbook, and I don't know that Americans realize. I didn't even realize we wasn't recognized, and that was said on 93.1. Now I didn't even know that.
Well, I'm looking here online. 10 Christian churches are formally recognized under Israel's confessional system for the self-regulation, state recognition of status issues.
All right, so I should look that when I said it, but that was said by the host, man, earlier, but not today. But don't even matter. Scratch that. I was wrong. That's on me. I ain't blaming nobody. I didn't look it up. But if we don't believe the same thing, because I'm trying to learn this stuff, man. My brothers, I say, my brother is in heaven. There ain't no doubt, and right. I know he fought the good fight. And the Lord took him early because of what if y'all knew the work them boys put in, like if y'all even knew a third of that story, like you'd be like, man, how did they even keep going? Like you wouldn't think that what they went through, you would go through in the year 2000. Period. End of story. And I mean, Bobby actually put on boxing gloves to go fight tough man competition again, to go
Right,
around
yeah.
all over the Southeast to win them, to get a bus to all these kids. So this is where it's coming from now. It's coming from heart, and I just want to know. I'm learning that Jewish people don't. I didn't even know that side. I did not know that they didn't believe that the Messiah came. I just thought they didn't want to be blamed for killing him. You know what I mean? Like I mean, so I've learned that since this year. Like I did. That's how dumb and blind I was to it. Cause I never took the time to learn that side, because I just thought we was all, cause we, you know how we are. We always stand up for Israel, fight for Israel. Israel, the chosen people. You know what I mean? You don't think twice about it. I was told to stand up and fight for them. And that's all I knew. I didn't know why, and I don't look like I still know why. And I'm searching for that. So I'm just, where do we hook at the hip and go forward with a sword, saying, "Hey, we together on this," and in the fight to. It's once they pull the wool back and let us go at it, because it's coming. I mean, that's what they're gearing up for. I mean, it's a religious war we fight, and there ain't no other way to put it. I mean, you see what's coming over. I mean, it's the side of the Catholics. I mean, I don't, you know what I mean? We outnumbered 9 to 1 at least about the numbers. I mean, I'm just searching for answers. I'm just asking you, I guess, man. How do we hook with Jewish people at the hill to say we're together, even though they believe one thing and we believe another, but we still all believe in the good of humanity?
Well, I mean, like, work with any people that have deep disagreements with you. And I think it starts with humility, that we don't necessarily know the actual end and where God is taking all this. But there are many folks, to put it in a simple phrase, say the Jewish folks are of the book. The Messiah came of the Jews.
Right.
And, I mean, in many ways, yes, Jesus was rejected as the Messiah. That's why they're not Christians. They remain Jewish folks. So, the geopolitics of all this also gets complicated, Randall. But I think the way people should work together is more on a basis of humility. I am not down with, say, some of the Christian Zionism that goes on, that in order to, we're almost kind of ushering in Armageddon by doing this. I think that is not humble at all. I think it's incredible hubris.
Oh, man, I want to say on a good note on Friday, man, Sunday, not to say nothing about that, but man, the Montgomery is, and this Saturday, even tomorrow, I want to say, man, Christmas hot dogs has been a part of my life. I mean, my whole life. I mean, they've been there 107 years, so of course they've been there long in our house. So every visit me and my daughters had downtown, every other weekend there for years. I mean, that's just where we went. Man, that was our spot. That was kind of like, we didn't have to go so far. And they was so far to come back up to the country. You just look for a place to get, spend as much time to get that car, where you can spend as much quality time as you can with walking around. I mean, man, I just want to say, like, what's going on downtown this weekend? People go support them. They shutting down the streets again.
Yeah, have a big party.
Christmas hot dogs, man. Go down there and share your stories with the family. They're gonna be selling hot dogs up under the tent. The family wants to hear the stories. You know what I mean? Of the old times of Gus and just all the good times. And then Sunday, man, your girl offered Blue Water Broadcast and Toy. And if y'all willing to go vote for her too now, she's up for awards for Alabama Music Awards. Look that up and go vote for Toy. But she's gonna be at Sunday downtown on the big stage, baby. You know,
right.
And Gina Jones and all of them coming in. So this ain't no little to do. And all the section couches, all the white, I mean, it's white couches to be put out. Like, it's nice. White couches, it's all across the lawn down there. It's the most beautiful thing, man, that Trey does. I just can't get over how beautiful he makes it, man, and what comes out of his head. And y'all should go down and enjoy the weekend downtown, man. Y'all got something crazy down there.
I appreciate it, Randall.
See you, Randall.
All right, brother.
Love you, brother.
See y'all.
Let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Me.
Hey, Crawdad.
Oh, my goodness. I'm sorry. I was crunchy. They're very crunchy on a Ritz cracker.
Mm-hmm.
I had to fight a jaybird to get this one. It had just crawled up out of the ground and was climbing up. And I told you guys I was going to try the cicada.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. not bad. They're very crunchy. It's kind of, pardon?
Sounds that way.
Yeah. I think it needs Tabasco, but I highly would like to encourage Ramble to go outside and find one before it gets wings. Look at Tabasco, and then go read a copy of Hemingway's Finnegan's Wake. Wonderful book. I never got to even crack more than 10 pages in that thing. But I hope you guys can try these cicadas, because the government is going to get to the point where they're telling us all this protein, the beef and the cow, the goats, no, we need to eat more bugs. So, thank you, Uncle Joe.
Wait, isn't Finnegan's Wake Joyce, James Joyce?
I'm sorry. I thought it was Hemingway.
I think it's James Joyce.
Come again, I have to go what now, please?
I think the author's James Joyce. Eddie, sorry.
James Joyce did Finnegan's Wake?
Yeah.
Okay, I see what happens when you drink too much liquor and smoke too much weed in the 80s. It does leave you with, I'm not supposed to say that.
And nom on too many cicadas.
Yeah.
I have a picture I will send you guys if you like.
You bet.
Okay, good. Happy days.
See you, bro.
Have a great weekend, Crawdad. Let's go to line 4. You're on there. Who's this?
Man, it don't matter who I am.
Yeah.
Listen,
We know who you are.
Yeah, I know. I got a distinctive voice. I hate that for some reason because my kinfolks and people that know me, they know my name. But anyway, now I'm a Biloxi gambler because you always got to vote no against gambling in Alabama. All they want to do is just monopoly for the Indians. This stupid lottery, which is not what I called about. This is the reason I'm Biloxi gambler. I'm Biloxi gambler because if you want to gamble, go to Biloxi.
Right.
If they do the lottery, you're going to have scratch-offs. Right down the street from your house is going to be a Dollar General, Walmart, every gas station is going to sell that. There's no limit to it, and it's worse than electronic gaming. It's kind of like the state of Alabama. I didn't call for this, but it's like the state of Alabama has a headache, and all pain relievers are illegal. Now, we can either legalize aspirin or we can legalize fentanyl. And they're going to legalize fentanyl and keep electronic gaming and a lottery. They call it a lottery, but it's going to be those stupid scratch-offs where you've got 2 drawings a day, 7 days a week for a 3-number, a 4-number, 7 days a week, a 5-number, and then you're going to have the Powerball twice a week. Okay? That's stupid. Anyway, doesn't matter.
What'd you call about?
That ain't what I called about. Well, religion for dummies.
Okay.
Okay. The Jews, they believe in Jesus. He was a prophet. He was a rabbi, but he wasn't the Messiah.
Right.
Okay. Now the Christians believe he was the Messiah, and the Muslims believe that Muhammad came 600 years later, and he was the true Messiah. So they rewritten all the laws.
Yeah, he was the final voice on this, and Jesus is a hailed prophet.
That's what they believe. Now, here's the problem with the Muslims: is the Muslims believe, when you're low in number, you act as a lamb. When you are large in numbers, then you roar like a lion. And so that's what they do, but when they are large in number and they roar like a lion, you have a choice. You're either Muslim or you're dead. The Christians don't do that. The Jews don't do that. The Jews don't even recruit. They don't evangelize. They're like,
And in certain times it might be, if you're not Muslim, pay a tax, and then we're cool.
No.
I'm thinking of like the
Quran, you got to be Muslim. You get a choice. If you're not Muslim, they kill you.
And you said in Iran?
I called about the banking. But
Okay.
anyway, go ahead. What?
No, like for instance, in the Ottoman Empire, there are a lot of different religious sects, but the ones that were non-Muslim were allowed, but they were under the thumb of the state. They had to pay an extra
Was
tax.
that the Shia Muslim or the Shiite Muslim, because they don't like each other, and they got different.
It'd be Sunni or Shia, but I think those are the Sunni Muslims that ran the caliphate there. Anyway.
You drop?
You still there, Biloxi Gambler? No. Oh, well. Let's go to line one. Who's this?
This is Steve.
Hey, Steve.
I just wanted to make a quick observation about people that call in that are so damned ignorant of religion. Okay? Nobody can say that Christianity is not allowed in Israel. And any idiot that says it is just that. He's an idiot. I was married to a Jew for 9 years, an Orthodox Jew. Yes, they do not believe in Jesus. They don't believe that Jesus was Messiah. But as far as the people in Israel, there are Christian churches all over that country.
Right.
And anybody that says any different is a raving lunatic and uneducated, just like your previous caller. And I will tell him to his face, he's an idiot. You know, there's nothing in this world that ticks me off worse than somebody saying crap that they know nothing about.
And it's kind of my job description, though, Steve.
No, Joey, I disagree. I disagree with you there. You talk about a lot of stuff that you may not know a lot about it, but you know enough not to get you into trouble.
Fair enough. Well,
okay. You know, so you know, this. I listen to that fool every time he calls in, and he comes off with more garbage than any half dozen people that I ever listened to. So, you know, I'm by him like I am by Duke. They're both idiots. So,
well,
enough said.
Appreciate you, Steve. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve.
272-9228. In a second, I got to hit this break. But we keep getting calls rolling in.
Yeah.
Actually, this part of the program brought to you by River Region Contracting.
Good folks over here, Joey.
Oh, really good folks.
They've done a job or three for me quite a few times. Man.
Really?
Yes, they have. And every time they've done it, I've never been unsatisfied.
Really?
This is one of the few companies that I've used for construction that I didn't have to call them back on with a punch list. They knocked it out the first time. They got it right the first time.
And this has been both, like, it didn't make a difference whether it was a metal or asphalt
The
roof.
metal roof was something they did for me, and I was really involved with because it's a roof that's on my personal house. But the asphalt roof is another house that we own that they came and inspected. Did find a few issues they said we need to take care of. We got them taken care of. They knocked it out. I mean, it was something I was really worried about. A couple $100 took care of it.
So, and did they charge you for an inspection?
Of course not.
No, they're always free.
Always
right?
free.
And the estimate's free, too.
And accurate.
Ooh.
That's the part I really appreciate.
And they're insurance specialists.
Yes, they have.
So
I've used them for that time or two.
They help with the claims process.
Yep.
How?
Very educational.
I think there's a reason people call them the premier roofing contractor here in the area.
No doubt in my mind.
Again, folks, that's River Region Contracting, 356-8635. That's 356-8635. And be sure to tell them all you heard about them here on News and Views in the afternoon. Let's try to take some of these. We got to be quick, though, folks. You're on there. Who's this?
Biloxi Gambler never said anything about no Christian churches in Israel.
He wasn't talking about you. We had a lot of previous calls. You're on there. Who's this?
This is Duke.
Hey, Duke.
Oh, boy, trying to hit it, trying to throw a little thing my way. That's all right. I love you, buddy. I'm sitting here eating some chicken while I'm talking. I'm sorry.
It is tasty.
Y'all can't have it.
Where'd you
Y'all
get
can't have
some?
it.
Where'd you get it?
I got me some church, not church, but KFC.
Oh man, you messed
KFC coming
messed
back
up.
strong. They're coming back strong, boy. I tell you.
Nah.
That's all.
But anyway, to take off a rounder, I heard someone mention the same thing that they don't recognize Christians over in Israel. I heard that on many occasions, different shows, and from different people the last few months. So Rounder said. He mentioned about what he heard other folks say.
Right.
The last caller, since you want to know it all. Okay. But here's what I want to know. How is it now that we haven't heard anything from the white supremacist guys that told people that Jews would not replace us Why they don't like the Jews?
Why are there neo-Nazi anti-Semites saying the Jews will not replace us?
Yeah, why they running around in this country talking about that stuff? The people we saw in South Carolina marching, why they don't like the Jews?
I really don't have time to go into a whole explanation of modern-day anti-Semitism. And honestly, I don't really want to give them much time. And again, I don't think they're
right now, they don't have to do any of that stuff, huh?
right. I don't think they're representative of the vast majority of the population. I've always thought the Charlottesville thing was a great media event to try to blame Trump for it.
Okay, I just haven't think about that, but leave Randall alone. I'm running my board now. Randall know what he's talking about most of the time. All right.
Right. Duke, maybe call back on the topic like when I have more time, but I'm
See you, Dukes.
Like, goodness gracious. Joey, tell me the history of the world in 2 minutes.
There's a great movie for that, Mel Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. It's more than 2 minutes, but it's a great movie.
Yeah. Like, oh,
pretty much.
History of the
got
world,
it.
right there.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Montgomery, I just have one question. What kind of car are you shopping for? If you want new Toyotas, pre-owned vehicles, and our best customer service and prices, it's all here at Toyota of Montgomery. No matter what you're looking for, the selection of new Toyotas are huge. Shop every model in every trim. Camry, Corolla, Tundra, Highlander. Plus, get an exceptional value with our certified pre-owned vehicles. They'll look, drive, and even smell brand new. The only difference is they cost thousands less. So what car are you shopping for? Chances are you can get it and save big on it at Toyota of Montgomery because it's all here. Big selection, great values, and exceptional customer service. Hurry to Toyota of Montgomery on East Boulevard, exit 6 off 85, part of the Sutherland Automotive Group, online at toyotamontgomery.com.
Hi, I'm Rebecca, owner of Smart Skin Med Spa and Salon. Are you looking for that perfect gift? Get that special someone a gift certificate to use on the services they love. Smart Skin Med Spa and Salon, the only salon, med spa, and day spa located in the heart of downtown Prattville.
How do you know once you pass that family and friends will get what you promised and that someone won't destroy or replace your will or trust with a fake one? How many copies of your will do you have, and do your loved ones know where it is? Every time you change your will, you have to copy, distribute, and have it notarized. Put a stop to all of this at secureawill.com, where your important documents like last will, trust, or goodbye letter are stored until your passing. Then they send your info to whomever you've requested. You'll be 100% safe with voice biometrics and their new video signature. Visit them at secure-a-will.com.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
We get Montgomery talking 24 hours a day. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Not much time, folks. Let's go right to the phones, talk to Ray Bowles from Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray.
Hey, guys. Sorry I'm out of breath. Terry's working me back here in the back room.
Oh?
All I've been doing all day long is manual labor. I'm filthy. I'm just a dirty boy.
Just moving pallets and stuff?
Yeah, well, just getting these big jobs ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now he's back here saying dirty words because they sent the wrong molding. So let me walk away because he's losing his mind.
Good call, Ray.
Yeah, I'm walking back into the warehouse. I'm out. Yeah, that's the beauty of when that happens and you don't check your stuff before it's the day before.
Oh, boy.
On a Friday afternoon.
Nice.
Yes, you got to love that.
Yep.
And that's one thing we stay on top of. You ask the question, how do you move so much merchandise in and out of this little building and get so many jobs done? We stay on top of our job. From the time you walk in and sign that contract until the time we walk out the door, we're checking things, making sure we got the moldings here, making sure we got this there. Everything's going to run smooth when we start that job, so we're in and out in a very quick amount of time. And the last thing you want is that short man trophy on your desk.
That's true.
It's on Bart's now.
So the number's still 285-8117 if folks want to get in touch with you.
It will be open tomorrow from 9 to 1, so give us a call.
285-8117. Be sure to tell them you're at Ray Bowles on the radio. Appreciate it, Ray.
Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend, brother.
Well, we're pretty much out of time here. I apologize, JR. We're out of time, man. I see Greg Goodell ready to go. Did we learn anything, though, in 5 seconds, Eddie?
Not worth repeating.
Yeah, right. I know. It's always so inappropriate. We'll try to
It's
work
Friday.
on that.
It's Friday. People got to get their stuff out.
I mean, you just know the thoughts that come into both of our minds. Like, look at the screen.
Yeah, I've been looking. Is it blue or is it purple?
Purple.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm